Welcome to the 100% Dad Podcast, interviews with dads. This is number 5 with Joe Smith, a military dad in South Dakota. We talk a little endometriosis, a little COVID in the medical field, some kids weightlifting, and a whole bunch of other things. I'm going to go ahead and warn you, my microphone was not performing fantastically. So we're going to work on that for future podcasts, but it is what it is. We had some fun talking, and with no further ado, here we go. We can edit, remember? We can
Yeah, for sure. That's good. Yeah, we need to. So I'll talk slow and I'll pause in between sentences, so it's easy to delete stuff.
How's my hair?
It looks good, man. You did a great job. Did Ryan cut that hair? Or?
Did you see it?
Yeah. It was impressive. What are you doing? Are you is that your intention, just to grow it out, or what?
It's a straight up fro. So Ryan, two things happened. Ryan asked me, I've always gone like a number 2 fade.
Yeah.
Been my haircut since high school. Well, I buzzed it a little bit back then. So she said she wanted me to grow it out a little bit longer. And then she also said, I'm starting to go a little bit bald. Like she was making fun of me. Like,
okay.
I'm not going bald. Like, so this
is...
You
can't go bald when you got long hair.
Right? I mean, I think I'm starting to thin up front a little bit, but...
Yeah.
So now it's like, it's a straight up fro. Like it goes...
Are you gonna braid it too? Get it braided?
So I've told a few people... Not many people outside of your family know that I braided it that way.
Yeah, you should go get it braided. Go just right up to Jacksonville and tell Brittany to braid your hair.
How we didn't take pictures of that?
There's got to be pictures somewhere. There has to be somewhere. I bet someone has them.
It's not like we had phones, did we?
That's true. Yeah, no, we didn't.
We didn't have phones like we have today, but
no, I think with like the flip phones, like the little flip phones.
The Razors. That was like our senior year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
God, that's crazy. That's crazy to think about. That's crazy. It's like, what do you mean we didn't carry a Polaroid around and snap a shot to get an instant photo?
We were still. I used to. Remember Kayla Shrek?
Yeah.
So she used to always have those disposable cameras.
Mm-hmm. The little wind. You wind it and take a clip. Yeah.
And so I used to steal them and take pictures. She would have them developed like a month later. It'd be 50 pictures of my face.
But it's crazy. Now it's like if we see a little spinning screen, we're freaking out. We're like, this is ridiculous. It's taking too long.
Yeah. No patience.
No. That's a fancy mic you got there, man.
I got 2 of them. If you were here and we were 6 feet apart, you could have had one too.
Oh, it does have like a boom arm where it like comes down and like.
So I didn't get that stand.
Okay.
I can do some things.
Like a little tripod stand, yeah.
So my first 5 podcasts just sucked. We were running them on. One of them we tried to do through the computer. A couple of them through our video camera, which is like a DSLR camera that we just do video on.
Yeah.
I tried doing it on my phone, and everything kept timing out, or like the audio wasn't hooked up right, and so like. I just bought a system where like I can have good mic with good sound quality. I can monitor it while it's going and see that both mics are working and capturing.
Oh, that's fair.
And it came with some other stuff, but
it was like a whole system you bought.
It was like a kit. There's all this crap you plug in. I genuinely don't fully understand. I don't even want to learn it, but I have to.
Yeah, just get it to work. You're like, let's make it work.
So annoying.
You figure it out as you go, though.
Yeah. So I just had to buy a new laptop because it won't work with my old laptop. So I just bought a new laptop.
Oh, jeez.
We were supposed to leave last week to go on the road, which, by the way, we might be coming up your way first.
Yeah, come on up.
Because the Northeast is shut down.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, so probably not a good idea to go to Jersey or New York right now.
We were going to Southeast route, and then kind of really starting to like enjoy New Hampshire, Maine, that area. Go up to Canada and come across.
Mm-hmm.
And we still have the reservations, but they're slowly getting canceled.
Oh, geez, that's crazy.
So we'll know more.
Is there any anticipation of them like opening those up for that, or what's the deal?
Who knows?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if like if you contacted those individuals directly, if they would be like, yeah, we're talking about opening it up next week.
So most of the campgrounds we're staying at are private because we have such a big rig.
Yeah, they won't let you stay at like KOAs and stuff.
Well, the KOAs are private.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I
But
didn't know
like
that.
state parks, national parks, things like that, they're obviously not.
Right.
So those places have kicked everyone out and just said
Okay.
they're not taking reservations. Most of our places, they're still, but then there's rules of, some states you got to, if you're coming into the state, you have to self quarantine for 14 days. Some places 30 week, or the campground is getting classified as a short term rental, and so you stay there a minimum of 30 days. So then we're getting into positions where we go somewhere, we have to stay there, and there's nothing to do in that community. You can go for hikes, but you can only go for so many hikes before you're just bored out of your mind.
Yeah, you're like, got it. We hiked this one 5 times already. Yeah,
that's bored out of our mind here, but at least we have the house, and like we kind of quarantine in our neighborhood.
Yeah,
so, like all the kids are still interacting and everything. There's no way,
dude. It'll be a good time. I think. So I'm actually one of my buddies that I work with, one of the other PAs. He's like big into like side by sides and stuff. So he has a quad Razor Turbo, and he like takes it out all the time. And so he's like, dude, yeah, come over. We'll go riding. And our house is so we have a couple of acres, and it's, I don't know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to describe how like we're backed up to the national forest, and the trails like right down the road, like hundreds of miles of trails. So of course I'm like, it's Blackhawk, South Dakota. You can Google it. You can like satellite image it.
Yeah.
I'll give you the address. You want the address?
What is it?
The address.
Looks dope.
Yeah, it's just nothing, but it's crazy, man. We go back in the forest and stuff. But my buddy's like, yeah, dude, come over. We're potentially going to go over this weekend and maybe do some riding. I don't know. I'm kind of scared to get in it because if I get in as, Razor, then I'm going to be like, oh, dude, I got to get me one. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to.
What's that? So you can play in all this?
Dude, all of it. Yes, that's all national forest. It's all completely public land. Like
it looks mountainous.
It's hilly. Yeah, it's hilly. It's certainly not mountains, but it's definitely hilly. Like that picture I sent. You remember that picture I sent you like a while ago, and I was like, when you guys coming up, and it had it in the background. That's kind of how it is. Yeah, I don't know. That's how it is though. It's like hills, I guess. Hills, but yeah, it's pretty open. Yeah, that's the house that's like the house way back in the day. That one right there. That's it right there. That's like after
2008, man. You need Google to come back out to your street.
Yeah, for real. They probably can't get up here, dude. When it snows, it's a crazy hill to get up here, like insane. Like in the winter, you got to put it in 4-wheel drive just to be able to get up the hill.
Is it down here?
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, that one right there. Oh no, the hill is like way back. It's like way back there. Like it kind of winds the roads. But yeah, behind the house though, it's forest, man, forest property. So it's pretty cool. You just park right there in the driveway right there. You got a nice little spot.
Right.
Oh.
I didn't even look for that. You got power?
I mean, yeah, we have power. I don't have anywhere specifically for you to plug in, but we have generator and stuff.
Because your mom and dad are they're living in a fifth wheel, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They live. They live with somewhere they can plug in though. They don't ever bring it out here. Whenever they visit,
I was about to say, do they ever come visit you?
No, they have. Dad's come out. Mine hasn't come out yet. Dad's come out, but he just brings his truck and just stays in the house. But yeah, I don't have anywhere specifically for that to hook up. But I mean, you got I saw that generator on that thing. I saw your. Is that a Cummins generator on there?
Have I sent you a picture? Yeah, it is Cummins.
I saw pictures of it. I think you put pictures of it on the blog, right? I think you put it on the blog, like you had like a kind of a walkthrough. Yeah, I saw that big green generator in there, and I was like, okay, has to be coming.
Wait. You haven't seen this yet. Hold on. Where are we at? I don't know how to show. All right, shared screen. Boom.
I don't know. I'm looking at. Oh, what? Hold on, dude. That's crazy.
So we haven't released this yet, but yeah. So this is sitting in my front of my house right now.
That is legit. Is that a wrap? How do they do that? Is that like a vinyl wrap?
No, I hand painted that.
Yeah, with like pastel.
That's watercolors, bro.
Dude, that's crazy. Like acrylic paints and stuff. That's sick.
Yeah, I liked it.
That's super cool. You just keep it hooked up to the truck at all times? You just pull it around everywhere you go?
Well, I just got it like 2 days ago.
Oh, got you. That's so cool.
Now, like, you can see here, we're plugged into the house, but it's just running 20 amp.
Okay.
So
what does it plug into in the house? Like, does it plug into like the actual like breaker box or something?
20 amp, 15. So your normal three prong plug. So I can't run everything on it, but it'll run the refrigerator, some lights, TVs, charge batteries, things like that.
You can plug that in.
If I turn almost everything off, I can run an AC unit, but I just have to monitor it carefully.
I got you.
Once you get past 15 or 20 amps, whatever that plug's rated for, we'll either pop the breaker or start to melt the cord if we try and pull too much.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you could plug that in for sure. I mean, every garage has a plug-in like that at the house.
Yeah.
So
that at least,
dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, I like it.
that's so legit, man. That's super nice. Yeah,
right.
Nice.
Getting there. I put my blind up in the backyard. I had to take it out of our hunting property, and so I keep catching the kids up there. I told them not to climb up.
So. Yeah, there you go, dude. You come up and go hunting too. I want to try to get in the hunt this year, but what's crazy is that's another thing too on the property. I don't know what it is. There's deer everywhere. Like you literally walk outside and there's like 10 deer everywhere. So I just been throwing corn out, and we've been feeding them. Like they eat out of our hand. Like they'll eat the
might be a little hard to shoot basically your dog.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But if I just like go, I figured if I just go like into the property, like way back there, a couple 100 yards or something, and hopefully it's like a different family of deer, and I'll just wax one of those and then
just start setting up a feed pile. That can you shoot over feed in South Dakota? Do you know?
I don't know. I know Adam, Ashley's husband, my brother-in-law, he sent me some like field cameras or something. What's up?
Not only have I not heard of this guy's name.
You not know? Dude, she's been married to him for a couple years now. Oh, yeah, really? Yeah, Adam. Yeah, dude, he's super cool. Yeah, he's a big time hunter. So he sent me some like field cameras to set up. I haven't set them up yet because of the snow we just had like this past Sunday. But I was gonna walk back there a couple 100 yards and put some corn down and just set the camera up because he wants to see what kind of deer kind of buck we get in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So
you gotta kind of set up your blind or your stand or whatever out there and then start feeding. Really get used to it because the deer in Florida suck.
Dude, I can honestly walk out my backyard, I feel like, and just like reach out and grab one. Same with turkey.
That's how my mom's house, Maryland.
Yeah.
She's got like 11, 12 point bucks in her backyard in a neighborhood. And she's out there like she hates them because they eat her garden. She can't do anything about it because it's a neighborhood and it's Maryland and they hate guns. But she's out there like trying to chase it and hit it with a broomstick, and it's like charging her. Like it's not even scared of people.
That's crazy.
Like, Mom, I've got silencers. I can just go up there
just take care of them. Yeah. Just wax a couple of them. Yeah. Throw them in the freezer.
I mean, as long as I'm on the roof and like the bullet's at a down angle, like
you have to worry about hitting the neighbors. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You should be able to do that. Just put like a big zip line or something and go over the top of them.
Yeah. If any deer go missing in Maryland now, it'll be like suspect number 1.
That's right. Especially now that, well, at least it's not live though. So they won't be able to come get you now.
That's true. I can edit that out.
Yeah, exactly. Make it sound like it was me. Like, I don't know. This guy was talking about killing deer.
She would never let me.
She likes her buck that eat all her garden. That does suck though, I'll be honest. It does, I can't really put much like flowers or anything out. We have like 2 cherry trees, or no, sorry, 2 apple trees, a couple of cherry trees. I think that's like the only thing that will grow. I hope they flower. I haven't seen it yet. I know they fruit because when we bought the house, there was like apples were dropping and stuff when we got it, but I don't know about flowering. But I don't know about like flowers on the ground though, because they make like repellents. I don't know how well it works. So
yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Talking about to prevent deer from eating the flowers.
But what does that have to do with the apple and cherry tree?
Oh, nothing. I was just saying we have apple and cherry tree. I was saying I don't know if they
tree had like these special flowers around it.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know if they have flowers. I'm saying I don't know if they flower because I was saying it sucks because we can't like put nice flowers out or anything because they'll eat it all. But I was just saying we have the apple and cherry tree. I'm hoping that they look pretty. I don't know. We'll see. Otherwise, it's super boring looking because the deer do eat every damn thing that's on the ground.
My dad was convinced he was going to. I remember him telling me this when I was like 8 when we were up in Maryland. He was going to go to the zoo, convince the zookeeper to give him a big sack of lion turd, and he was going to just spread it around the house because what deer is going to go where a lion clearly has been?
It's true. That's probably the
I'm not
probably
sure
the easiest way.
Well, I'm not sure. Maryland deer know what the heck an African lion poop smells like.
Good point. Good point. They probably have not been exposed to an African lion poop. You're probably better off putting like a dog poop around or something.
Yeah.
Well, dude, where is he now? He has like a place. He has like a what is he? He has like a what is this thing he talks about all the time on Facebook? It's like the River House or the Mountain House or I don't know what it is. What is that?
He's got nicknames for everything. So he has the house on the St. John's.
Yeah.
You've probably been to that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then he bought a cabin in North Carolina.
Yeah, okay.
He Airbnbs that one out, and I think he might have bought a second one.
Okay.
He's up there now, I think.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's refusing to see the kids because.
Because of COVID.
I don't know if he's worried about catching it or what.
He's like, no, I don't want to.
We're pretty sure we had it because we were up in New York City before the first cases got announced. So
really?
We were in New York for a few days, and then we went up to Connecticut to get our RV.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were getting that, Levi, our oldest, was starting to not feel well. And, we were in a big city, so we figured he was just got, whatever, a bug.
Sure. Yeah.
There's so much crap everywhere in New York City. And he's such a nice kid. He's like picking up trash everywhere he goes and like trying to throw it away. And there's just trash everywhere. And we're like,
oh, jeez. Yeah. Like, just leave it, dude. You're not going to be able to, you can't save the world right now. You can't save the world right now.
Aiden, our 3-year-old, is like running his hand along handrails that are wet and just like licking his hand afterwards.
That's what I tried to do for a while too. I was like, dude, I want 14 days. And I was licking all the doorknobs. I was like, give me 14 days off.
So he ended up getting really sick. And I still think there's like a 30% chance it was a flu. I'm only like 70% convinced it was
70, solid 70. Okay.
Yeah, maybe 65.
Okay. No, man, I'm with you. Yeah.
Well, because he had a real bad flu, bad fever, and the cough wouldn't go away. And we all got it like within 3 days of each other.
Okay.
But we were at my mom's house, and they're old people. It's my mom and my stepdad, and they never got it. They never got sick.
Did you guys do a good job of like washing your hands and stuff?
No, or did they wash your hands? Everybody's faces. Like I laid on every possible surface because I wasn't feeling great. And I don't handle that well, apparently.
You're just like
we just thought it was a bad flu. I mean, we didn't really take anything for it, just NyQuil and whatnot. But the cough never really went away. What else was it? We all lost our taste for food, which apparently. So those two symptoms: the cough that never went away. And like 5 days after you feel better, you're still hacking up a lung. And then we had all lost like the taste, like food we normally like just tasted like cardboard. And so I think it was like 4 weeks ago or so, they started releasing like more symptoms that it could be.
Yeah, like abdominal symptoms or whatnot. You're like, oh yeah.
And that was some of them were like, oh, we might have. Hopefully, we did have it. Then we had the immunity, which now they're saying there is no immunity.
There is. I mean, you develop antibodies to it. So the idea is
in South Korea is now people who had it are getting rehospitalized.
Yeah, but there's 2 strains of it though. There's like the H and L strain or the S and L strain. I don't know, depending on who you ask. So when they're saying like, oh, you can get affected with it twice, really what you're getting infected with is the second strain. I mean, more likely than not, because I mean, in the grand scheme, it's still a coronavirus. Yeah, it might be a beta unit, but it's still a coronavirus that we're still going to develop antibodies to, So,
I mean, you're in the medical field because
you're like
just said, I'm like, oh,
you're like blah 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 blah.
I didn't even know there were strains.
Yeah, there's 2 different strains of it, basically just from it mutating. But that's why people are getting infected twice from it. But I mean, if you have the antibodies, it's still gonna help you prevent it. They're actually coming out with now. Because the test for it, which is why I was like doing my best, like the best I could to like try to educate people on why we weren't testing them. And of course, naturally with the hysteria that's out there, everybody's just like, just test me. Like it would have made a difference. It wouldn't have changed anything if they knew they had it or not. But because the test that we have, it's a PCR test, which is that means it's a diagnostic test. So it's not really good at screening everybody for it. It's just really good at telling you, hey, if it's positive, that means you absolutely, there's no false positives with it, right? Like you absolutely have it if it's positive. But it's like up to 40% false negatives. So people are getting negatives, and there's a possibility that you actually still have it, even if it's negative. So I try to convince people, which is why we were only testing people that were like higher priorities, like healthcare workers, first line workers, or like frontline workers, elderly people with comorbidities that are like really have other illnesses to be concerned with. We were only testing those, but man, it's crazy. Like how persistent people are. It's crazy. Like, no, I need to be tested. And you're like, dude, it's not going to change anything. And even when they come back negative, I say, okay, well, I'm going to treat you the same way. And I tell them exactly what I'm going to do. And I don't know. But then if it comes back negative, they're still comforted that it came back negative. Of course, I'm not telling them that, dude, you might still have it, but it doesn't matter. I still treat it the same. That's what's not getting, I guess, getting through to individuals is, and it's the CDC says it right on the website. It's just people only cherry pick what they want to hear from the CDC. But the treatment, it's always over the counter treatment. It still requires your antibodies and your immune system to fight the infection. Yes, there's some things you can do with regards to like the viral pneumonia that people are getting and the pro-inflammatory like cytokine storm where it's causing everybody's immune system to kind of overreact to it. Like, yes, there's things that they can do for that, but for the everyday individual that just has the cough, the dry cough, the fatigue, the body aches, like that's all treated as just like the flu. It's all treated just like everything else. So I tell them exactly, yeah, and I tell everybody that, and then what I've been doing, and this is actually per CDC, I just tell them, isolate yourself for 7 days. So it's at least 7 days, and you have to be fever free without antipyretics. So no Tylenol, ibuprofen, naproxen, nothing like that. So fever free for at least 72 hours. With it being at least 7 days. So let's say on day 7, you're like, hey, I still have a fever. All right, well, that's at least 9 days or 10 days now. So if they isolate themselves, because in order to transmit it, you have to have a specific amount of viral load. I don't know exactly what the amount is, but you can't just give one virus and it touches your mucosal surface and all of a sudden you're infected. It needs a decent amount of it. So this whole idea behind individuals coughing, unless I cough directly on you, but like coughing and then it's in a room now and I get sick, that's probably unlikely because you think about how gas spreads, right? If it aerosolizes, it's going to spread out. It's not like tuberculosis where it can be airborne. It is still aerosols that has to touch mucosal surfaces to get it. More likely than not, people are getting it by touching stuff and then touching their face with it. So so overall, basically, like the longer when you have it and your symptoms kind of subside and that viral load diminishes because your body fought everything off, you're likely not going to transmit it to someone else. Yes, you're still contagious, but it's likely not going to be transmitted because you're not coughing up as much, you're not sneezing up as much of the amount of virus that you had when you had the symptoms. But it doesn't matter.
Like CNN, like some medical expert.
That's it. I mean the little StreamYard things at the bottom. So I was hoping that's what it is. You can just copy and put this on Facebook too. Like the not expert dude that has to deal with this crap up in South Dakota that nobody has it. Yeah, you just put that up there and let everybody hear it.
Gosh, you guys even have how many cases do you guys have?
I
don't care about cases. Deaths. Yeah, how many deaths?
Not.
2.
I don't think we have. Yeah, it's not many, man. It's not many. I think we had. I know in our region, like in our area of South Dakota, we've had like, I don't think we have maybe one death, maybe. But yeah, it's like I think it's like a little over 1,800. Maybe today, maybe it's like 2,000 today in the state, but it's mostly East Coast. So I haven't seen it yet. I've tested probably not personally, but like I've ordered the test, and other individuals have tested it. I've tested probably like 15 people now, and I haven't had one. We haven't had one positive on base yet, even. So yeah, so we've been pretty lucky. I'm sure we've been exposed to it. I'm sure it's out there. We just haven't, with that 40% negative, false negative. I mean, there probably are individuals that have it that I've been in contact with. It's just, it's not that easy to transmit. I'm not going to walk around and like breathe hard. I'm not going to give you the wind of God and blow COVID on you.
We haven't talked anything bad yet. So why is
the world
taking this so serious then? More than the flu? Because I feel like the flu is more deadly.
Yeah, well, so right. Yeah. So with the amount of numbers, I mean, it does make sense, right? Because I was actually looking this up yesterday because I had to try to stay on top of it, but I was actually trying to.
The whole world is like freaking out on it. The government leaders, like everyone's been shut down for it, and it seems like there's, like we get it kills people, but statistically, it doesn't even compare.
Question of the year. That's the question of the year, man. That's the part that I don't understand.
Just about every country.
Yeah,
that locked down are still taking it super serious.
Yeah, that's the part I don't get. I think the only way I can rationalize it in my head is like we know every single year we're gonna have the flu, right? We know it. We every year the flu rapidly changes way faster than coronavirus does, like way faster, which is why every year it comes back around, people get reinfected with the flu. It mutates a little bit, but for the most part, we we have antibodies to some of the receptors that are on the flu virus itself, which is why it doesn't hit you as bad, even though it still does, right? There's so many people that die of it. I think the most recent statistic I looked at yesterday was like, because we don't know for sure, but it was like somewhere between 24,000 and 70,000 have died already in the US from the flu this year. Because I was trying to compare the two, like, well, how many have died from coronavirus? How many have died from the flu?
Same time period.
Right, exactly, for the exact same time period. So I was like, well, which one is deadlier per se, right? And in the end, in the grand scheme, the way that it's killing people, it's the same way. It might have a slightly different time frame and timeline, but it's still, you get a upper respiratory infection. It may attach to a different receptor, but still you get upper respiratory infection. Then it turns into viral pneumonia from someone that possibly doesn't have a really good immune system. And then it turns into a pro-inflammatory response where it's called acute respiratory distress syndrome. And that's when they're having issues with like pulmonary edema. And that's what the individuals need to get on ventilators. So honestly, I think the scary part is it's because it just jumped from animal to human. There's no antibodies. Like, we didn't develop any antibodies in our system or in our immune system from it at all. Like, whereas with the flu, we kind of have, we recognize it a little bit because of the one that was last year and the one that was the year before that and the one that was the year before that. With this one, there's no recognition at all. And then for two, I think doubled up because it's doubled up with the flu, where it's, I think with the media, they make it sound like coronavirus in itself is overwhelming the healthcare system and making it to where the healthcare system can't handle it because of coronavirus. But I think in reality, it's coupled with the flu. We're dealing with the flu, plus we have to deal with all the regular heart failures and diabetes and, strokes and things like that. And we're also dealing with coronavirus at the same time. So I feel like that's why the healthcare system is getting overwhelmed. With regards to the hysteria, I think it's just because it's the new flavor, kind of like H1N1 and Ebola was. It's like the new flavor of the year.
But I mean, those were taken seriously, and like government-wise, they panicked, but not at this level.
Yeah. I think it's just because of how quickly this can transmit. Like Ebola, I guess, doesn't transmit as quickly. I haven't done a lot of research or study on Ebola to know its transmission, but I think there wasn't many cases, if like one or two maybe in the U.S. I don't know exactly the amount, but because it is an essentially an upper respiratory infection with like lower respiratory components, it just transmits much quicker. It transmits similar to the flu does. So I think that's just why it's so scary. It would be nice if everybody took the flu as serious without the hysteria, but they still took all the precautions. I mean, this is what's crazy to me too. And I mean, I say all this like like I'm immune to it. I'm certainly not. But what's crazy is like, how I bite my nails all the time, right? And I know the flu is going around. I know the flu is going around. It goes around every single year.
15 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's what's crazy. It's like, I know this is always the case, and with influenza and how a lot of people die from it. But now, because of coronavirus, even though I know it's like similar, I'm like, stop chewing my nails. And it's crazy. It's like, so I'm buying into it as well. I'm like, you know what? Like, I have to make a change too. So I don't know. It is pretty nuts. So I do not know. I do not 100% understand the hysteria, but at the same time, I wish it was mildly. I wish influenza was at least mildly taken as serious as this is every year.
So this is supposed to be a dad-related podcast.
Yeah.
So why don't we tell everyone who you are, what you do for a living, if you're married, how long, kids, all that jazz.
For sure. Joseph Smith. What I do for a living, I'm a primary care physician assistant, specifically in the military. So I deal with active duty population right now in South Dakota. Married it'll be 10 years in a couple months now. It'll be 10 years with Katie, and I have two kids, Kendra, Braden, 9 and 13.
9 and 13.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, Kendra 13, the girl. Yeah. She's not bad though. She doesn't remind me of my sisters, that's for sure.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she's much easier to deal with than them. That's for certain.
Well, in South Dakota, I mean, how much trouble can a teenager really get into?
That's true. There's not much. That's why we actually went out in like the country to keep her isolated. Yeah, to keep her isolated out here. But I mean, she's just a good kid all around, I think, though. Like, I don't have to do much with her. She's kind of self-motivated for the most part, knows what she wants to do, knows what she enjoys. So she makes it easy for sure.
That's good. I still picture you with like a 5-year-old, I guess. And You don't even have little
Same,
kids anymore.
same for you. Yeah, it's true. You still have little kids, but same
I
for
have a
you though.
3-year-old,
That's true.
6 and a 9, 369.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah. Youngest is 9 years old now, man. We were just out throwing the baseball and shooting a basketball earlier
And
too.
they can make their own food and take care of themselves. And
Yeah, pick up after me and
that's
clean my floors and clean my
yours.
baseboards. Yes, it's
Like
not. Now
that.
that doesn't mean they do it every time though. They certainly don't do it every time. They still have to be reminded like every time.
Do you guys have like chore lists and things like that?
No, I mean there's
Or is it just whenever you
expectations.
say it?
Yeah, it's pretty much the expectation. I mean, the expectation is now it doesn't stay this way naturally because they somehow get away with not doing them. But the expectation is that they're kind of responsible for the dishes for the most part. We have chickens and ducks now too, so they've been helping out with the chickens and ducks for the most part. We don't have to ask too much. They kind of just taking it upon themselves.
How
Have
long
to
have you
keep
had them?
the chickens and ducks been like three months now, 3 months maybe,
Okay, you got them
something
as
like that.
chicks.
Yep.
So you don't have eggs yet then.
No, unfortunately not. October is when we're shooting for.
Yep. So we had chickens for a few years, and it was I really liked them.
Yeah.
I enjoyed having them. It was kind of like having our own little farm.
Yeah.
And the kids liked having them. But we got rid of, because we're leaving, but kids stopped taking care of them.
Oh yeah.
There's only like about 7 or 8 times where like I was just at work, crazy at work. Like I was leaving when it was dark, coming back when it was dark. And so I just wasn't even checking on the chickens. They were supposed to be doing it. They weren't doing it, thinking I would do it, and that's wrong. So I just put them up on Facebook, and they were gone within like 10 minutes.
Did they get caught up quick?
Yeah,
so
we had a nice like hand custom built coop and everything.
Oh, nice.
It was like a walk-in one. I mean, it was a sweet setup.
Nice.
Doggone now, and now where we had the coop, all these tomato plants are popping up.
Did you plant tomatoes?
No, not at all. So we used to feed our chickens just all of our scrap.
I hope you like tomatoes.
Right there. I mean, there's an entire, it's like a 10-yard by 10-yard section of just tomato plants.
Now you're like, dang it, we should have gave them strawberries and stuff.
Like, we should have so much stuff. So we don't know what's going to pop up and grow there.
Maybe tomatoes are super simple to grow. I don't know.
I guess.
Dude, but to be honest though, the ducks are fun. The ducks are super cool because they're like, I don't know, the chickens don't mind you come and pick them up. They don't care about that. But the ducks, they want their space, but they want to be around you. Like they'll if I'm outside, because they have their own little coop as well, like their own little. It's actually a dog run that we made it for them, and with a little pool, and they'll go in the pool and swim around all day. And then when we're outside and we let them out of that, they want to be within like 2 feet of you, but they don't really want you to like grab them and pick them up. But everywhere you go, they'll follow you. It's pretty cool. And they do a little whack whack whack. It's pretty legit. Ducks are fun.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. Except their poop stinks pretty bad though.
Yeah. So I got some questions here about like how pregnancy was in the first few months at home, but you're so far removed from that, you probably got amnesia on all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember too much. Let me see if I can date back to that.
So do you guys have any desire to have a third kid?
Yeah, so actually we've been trying for like years. I mean, we've been trying for like 6 years now, maybe 5-6 years. Katie has endometriosis, so she has issues with trying to conceive or basically getting pregnant. So yeah, she's not able to. But yeah, we've been trying for like 6 years. So I want like 20 of them now that the kids are older, because it's basically like having 4 parents.
But now that's starting over. How do you feel about that? You've been out of the young kid game for so long.
That's true. It's probably because I don't remember. It's probably like being a 25-year-old again and wanting kids or something. I don't know. Like when it was first proposed to me, I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And Katie was like, she had that like baby fever. This was years ago now. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And then it was like, you know what? Okay. I always said like, I don't want to just have kids just because I have baby fever or whatever. I always want to have kids if I'm happy where I am, and I'm happy where I am in life, and I want to be able to spend to incorporate a child into that and bring a child into my happiness, and then I don't know, at some point I guess I was there and I was like, yeah, let's, I do want one too, but maybe that was just because we were so far removed from having an infant. And then I don't know, but now it doesn't scare me. I mean, I maybe it's like being in the mid-20s again and you're like, yeah, I want kids, I don't know. Or maybe it's just because I know how fun they are at 9 and 13.
Yeah. I would have, if it was up to me, 16 or 17 kids in that range. But Ryan just said no.
Yeah, she's like, I'm the one that has to deal with that crap. Yeah.
She was done after 2, because she doesn't do pregnancies well.
Oh, okay.
And so she was done after 2, and I snuck a third in there. And then
go work like a ninja.
What do you call that?
She didn't even know it was happening, huh?
So our first baby was breech Levi, and so they did C-section. And in St. Augustine at our tiny one-room hospital, once you have a C-section, you have to have continuous C-sections.
Okay.
So the doctor gave her an option because she was looking at getting her tubes tied or me getting a what do you call that?
Vasectomy.
Which I was not thrilled about the thought of. And the doctor said, "Listen, we're going to be cut open. It's $25 if you want me to just do it right then and there, right after the C-section." And then we asked how much it would. Or Ryan asked how much it would be if we went back in like a year and decided to do it. It was like $1,300.
For her.
She made that decision without me, because they'd have to recut and go in and tie and
got you. Okay.
Tie the tubes. So she got her tubes tied after the delivery of Aiden.
Okay.
She's done. So we're either going to adopt or I'd have to stray.
Adopt 13 more kids. Adopt 13 kids.
I'm not sure we're going to get to the record. The goal was, if we could beat John and Kate plus 8, then we could get our own show or the Octomom. And that would have been
especially fun. If you had that many in the fifth wheel, then I think you would for sure get your own show.
There would be no fifth wheel. I mean, it'd be like we'd have to get our own train.
She would just have to pull one as well with another truck.
So there's some families that do that. They have their fifth wheel and then they have a minivan that follows because there's just not enough people that can fit in the truck.
That's crazy.
Can't ride in the trailer in most states.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's too much work.
Yeah.
At that point, I think I would just shove some kids in the fifth wheel and not tell anybody because.
Yeah. Turn the TV on. I mean, you keep the little what do they call it? The sliders. You just keep them in. Just keep them nice and tight in there.
Of course, you have to bring the slides in.
Yeah, I mean the kids are small enough. They'll fit. They'll be good.
They will. And so ours, you can fit in. You can't get into their room because we have the back of the fifth wheel is double bunks.
Okay.
So when they compress together, there's no getting in the doors. There's just that room's unusable.
Yeah, because that's the one. Because that's the one that has like bunked, and then has one that goes up and down, and a couch underneath it that turns into a bed too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've looked at fifth wheels too. We were thinking about doing a full when we were in Texas or in Florida because we're only going to be there for 13 months. We were considering getting a fifth wheel and living in it for that 13 months. So that was one of the ones one of that style we were looking at.
Yeah, because essentially they get their own room back there. And you still have a living room, and you can put them to. That was our whole thought. We can put them to bed, and we can still clean up the RV. We can watch a movie, and then go to our room.
Yeah. What do you? How many bathrooms in your fifth wheel?
2.
Is it 1 or 2?
2.
Oh, is it 2? Okay.
So the bunkhouse has its own bathroom. You need to go on YouTube, and there's like a 15-minute tour of of the RV, and it's more details. It's like MTV Cribs, but a lot lamer.
Not as spicy. Okay.
It isn't. But they are. So we've got one TV in our house, and it's usually covered by a wooden mat most of the day. So we're just not TV people.
Yeah.
The RV just comes with 38,000 TVs. And so every single room's got a TV. Outside of it's got a TV. So it did feel like MTV Cribs when I shot that. But
yeah. You're like, check this out. We have running water.
Remember that was a big deal on MTV Cribs? How many TVs you had? And
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And where the magic happens. Yeah, this is where the magic happens. Yeah, for sure.
So I learned. I was reading an article years ago that half those episodes were fake in the later years.
Really,
the artists were renting homes and then showing off the rented home.
Really?
Yeah.
These super rich people, they probably could afford it.
And it was and it was Redman. Remember Redman and Meth Man?
Yeah.
So Redman, his episode, they wanted him to do that, and that's what the article was kind of premised on. He's like, no, because I remember his episode. He's in the end townhouse of some neighborhood, just a normal neighborhood. It was a townhouse, and all the walls were white, nothing was hung. There was a futon, there was a TV on a milk crate, and with video game systems all around, and it was just normal.
That's the good life. I'm surprised they didn't cancel it. They were like, no, we're not doing this.
No, but he refused to fake it and just showed everyone the real deal.
That's fair. Hey, hold on one second. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
There's no bathroom breaks. I guess I'll do that too. You can come say hi. So good. Oh, he's back.
Back. I heard that. She said hello. Tell her I said hello. Yeah, I heard it. She's like, tell her I said hello. Tell her I said hello.
She was like, who's on there with you? I'm like, physician's assistant out of South Dakota. Why? I'm like, because we need dads on the show. Like, he's a dad. She's like, but how did you get connected with him? I'm like, we went to school together.
We went to school together.
She had no idea you were a physician's assistant.
Oh, really?
She thought you like did satellite code.
I used to do stuff like that.
I remember.
Yeah, I just switched. I just changed all the time. You know.
Yep, that's what she just said.
Yeah. I get bored with what I'm doing and just decide to switch. I still don't know what I do when I grow up. Who knows? I'll probably be doing something different in like a year or two.
All right, so you're gonna have another kid if you can. Have you guys looked at adoption at all, or foster, or any of that stuff?
So we've talked about it for the longest because we're still like actively trying, but we've talked about it. But I don't think it hasn't been like a formal like conversation. You know, it hasn't been like, hey, let's, you know, this is something we can really consider. I've brought it up like, yeah, you know, I don't know, like watching movies or a show. I'm like, man, it'd be cool to get like a teenager. Like then we don't have to change diapers. And she's like, no. She's like, no. Because, you know, for me, the most fun ages are like when I can interact with them and do things with them. It's not the goo-goos and gagas. It's the, hey, let's go do the daddy child type things, you know?
Yeah. But
so like right now it's pretty fun.
At age 17, you get a fun year. Then you got 4 years of college you got to pay for.
That's true. Something to consider. Maybe there's a clause when I adopt them, like must come with their own college fund.
I guarantee you there's some sort of scholarship or grant program for adopted kids.
I bet there is, yeah.
There must be.
Yeah, for sure. I bet you.
Where was I going to go with that? I had a really good question.
Did you? You didn't write it down?
And you ruined it. No, you just
ADD got the best of you.
It's my life. It's really my life. I feel like you guys have to talk about that, though, don't you? Like, there's got to be like a timeline eventually. How old are you?
Yeah, 30? I don't know. Yeah, 30, 33, 33. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I still feel. I mean, probably there probably
40. Is. Like, all right, once we hit age 40, then maybe.
I think when. No, you know what? I don't know, because I feel like there's been timelines in the past, and every single time we kind of push back a little bit. I think if Katie didn't have her medical condition, and like if it was something that where it was absolutely definitive, like we can't have children anymore, like if we were both like infertile or something, then I think we probably would have actually had a formal conversation regarding it. But because it's still possible, you know, I think we just still hang on to that hope, you know, hang on to that aspect, like, oh, we can have another kid, instead of adopting. So yeah, it hasn't really been a formal conversation. It's just kind of been in talking and passing, just because we still like hold on to that hope. Like, yeah, maybe we can, you know, maybe we can still have another one.
That makes sense.
No, I do think at a point where if it becomes that, then I think, yeah, there'll be a formal conversation for sure. Hopefully it won't get to that point.
I mean, you're in the medical field, because I always thought endometriosis you could work around that. You could
yeah,
probably expensive as hell, but
so that's the tough part for sure. There is for sure. So we've done artificial insemination. We've done it like three or four times. And this was, I'm trying to think back, 2015, I think was the first time we did it. She got pregnant, but like basically immediately lost it. It was, they call it a chemical pregnancy, where it's like she didn't really actually become pregnant, it didn't implant in the uterus. And then we tried it like 2 or 3 more times. The problem with endometriosis is it's extremely under, I don't know, we don't know a lot about it. It's like understudied. There's actually like endometriosis specialists now. That's not really, it's not a real credible position in the medical community yet. Like individuals that like specialize in going in to do surgery and taking it out. With Katie actually has an extremely rare version of it, where she actually has it in her diaphragm. So she has fenestrations or holes in her diaphragm that cause her lung to collapse. So she's had like, like 6. I mean, she currently has a collapsed lung right now, so she's had like 5 chest tubes since October. And the problem is so now it's essentially in her thoracic cavity. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're like, the chest tubes are good size. They're like at least a centimeter, a centimeter and a half in diameter. Every time they have to go in there, it's always in her right side. So with her, it's a matter of like, with endometriosis, there are some things you can do to try to get pregnant. Like oftentimes they'll go in and they'll try to clean up as many lesions as they can, and then they try to get you pregnant as quick as they can with like hormones and whatnot. And then they consider like, hey, maybe a hysterectomy, maybe it's time for that, or hormone suppression. With her, she's kind of past the point of like, okay, now this is painful, now this is infertile, and now it's like, hey, now this is more emergent scenario, because her lung continues to collapse and stays collapsed. Actually, like, her lung compliance is not where it was initially, just because of the amount of collapses she's had. Like, she basically has a chronic collapsed lung now. Like, it's just always that way. It's not as large. So basically they put a chest tube in, they kind of reinflate it essentially, but it never reaches like full capacity. And they've done like pleurodesis, which is kind of basically to scrape the lung to try to allow it to stick to their pleural cavity. But it's not working. So we're in a process still kind of going through with insurance, and she's already been at University of Colorado, Denver. She has a referral to University of Nebraska to discuss it with their cardiothoracic surgeon. But there's specialists, like very like subspecialists, that deal with this stuff. It's not really a credible position in the medical community yet. It's not really, like they don't. I don't know, they don't send people to these specialists really. And because they're so specialized in this stuff, a lot of them don't even take insurance. So they're like, nope, you'll be private pay, which of course you imagine surgery in both cavities plus hospital stay. They're charging what they want. Yeah, they're charging what they want. And they're backed up for like a year. And that's even just to have people go with just regular endometriosis in the pelvic region just to get surgery on that. That's not even including like what she has in her thoracic cavity too. So that would be a whole nother ball game. And they have to collaborate with the cardiothoracic surgeon that has experience doing that as well. So it's a pretty serious deal with what she's going through right now. So
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, and then that's the thing too, is there's clinical practice guidelines regarding like how to treat things like endometriosis, and the first questions I always ask is, are you trying, are you not? And they usually say, hey, let's do some hormone suppression, and then oftentimes it ends up being a hysterectomy, because that's like historically how they've treated it. But a lot of new studies come out now that are kind of changing the way they do that stuff and the way they're addressing it. And I think in 10 years or so, they're going to do it different. But right now we're still like, we're unfortunately on like the backside of that hill, where it's like it's ramping up, but we're on the wrong side of it. I wish I could fast forward 5 years and then they'd handle it that way. So yeah, we're fighting to get where we want to go.
20 years ago.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. 20 years ago, they would automatically take our uterus out and we wouldn't have had kids. They'd have like, boom, that's it.
You got to be an optimist, Joe. Jeez.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
All right. What's your work schedule like? Like, how often are you, you were saying you like doing things with the kids now, so I'm assuming you're trying to make life happen, but how present are
you? Right now, because of COVID, it's a little different for sure. Like the medical community and my schedule is all over the place. Typically, I would say I leave the house probably like 6:30 or so. So I wake up probably 5:30 in the morning, leave the house about 6:30. Get home 5 to 6 o'clock or so, about 5 or 6 o'clock. Usually Katie has like their homework's done and everything. So for the most part, especially now with daylight savings time, there's sunlight outside, so we can still get involved. So I still have a couple hours with the kids every night with Katie and the kids to, eat dinner, hang out, do activities, things like that. What's that?
You're not seeing them in the morning.
The kids, no, I'm out of the house before I would say I'm out of the house. Kendra's awake because her school's early. And actually, before the school shut down, I was taking her to school or taking her to the bus stop because she starts school really early. But Braden was asleep in the morning before, I was out of the house before he even woke up.
And that's 5 days. Was it 5 days?
5 days. Yeah, it's Monday through Friday.
Our schedules are like.
Yeah. So it depends. It depends on where you are. I'm in an outpatient clinic, so I don't do any inpatient stuff right now. So my schedule is Monday through Friday. But like if I was at a big hospital, like when I was in Florida, that's a full hospital. So I was doing inpatient work there. And that one's, could be in the middle of the night, could be on a Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, that one was a little bit different. But here it's Monday through Friday.
So you got your weekends, you got your evenings.
Yeah, it's super nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like good.
Yeah, I'm not on call or anything.
Well,
I'm on call once a month.
In medical.
No, for sure not. I would. No, yeah. There's most of my patient population, I would say, besides like support, like finance and like administrative individuals, most of them do shift work. So a lot of times, and we actually like within the clinic, we see, because we have certain patients that are impaneled to us. Like I'm responsible for, a certain squadron or whatever it may be, all those individuals that are in there. But oftentimes, like every week, there's always what we call a late provider and early provider. So typically one would come in a little bit later, and that's to accommodate those individuals. Because again, most of the military is shift work. They have swings and nights and all that stuff. So some of them get off work at 6 a.m. and then they're either going to sleep or they need to come in and make an appointment right away. So that would be an earlier provider would see them, or vice versa. They need to come in really late. So yeah, I would say most of the military does not have that same luxury that I have to work just Monday through Friday.
Nice. You guys can get a side-by-side so you can start riding through the mountains.
Man, it's it's so hard it's tough. I go back and forth on it because I tell Katie this the other day. When it was like 70 degrees out, and I told her, I said, babe, I don't know if a side-by-side is what I want to get though. I was like, because when I close my eyes and it's 70 degrees out and there's a nice breeze and it's beautiful, I was like, I don't picture myself on the trails. I picture myself on a boat on the lake doing something like that, or camping with the water right next to me.
In South Dakota?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of lakes out here, a lot of lakes and fishing, and yeah. And in the summer it gets warm because most of them are pretty large man-made lakes. So yeah, they get pretty warm, and you can swim and kayak and fish. And there's a lot of like skiing and recreation, like water recreation out here. It's a big thing. But of course, so is side-by-sides out here because there's hundreds of miles of trails. So of course, I would love it if I was like had an infinite amount of money. I would get like side-by-sides and a boat. But for me, I'm like, God, man, I don't know what I want. Yeah. And so
how much faster could you shovel the driveway if you just had a plow on a side-by-side?
So with that being said, every single one of my neighbors, like if you went on Google Maps and you looked at all my neighbors, every one of them have a side-by-side or a four-wheeler with a plow. Of course. I have a snowblower. So I shoot the snow with the snowblower, which it would be almost impossible to do. Cool. Yeah, it'd be almost impossible to do it with a shovel. It's crazy because sometimes you get like 12, 15 inches of snow. And I would not be shoveling that with how heavy the snow gets. But so the snowblower is pretty legit. But those people, like my neighbors, will be plowing their driveways with their side-by-side. And they'll be like, hey, Joe, you want me to just take care of that for you real quick? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, you don't have to. My pride is like, no, I'll take care of it. But really, they go down in one sweep and then they go back and they're done. And so it's literally 2 minutes maybe. And I'm like,
do any of them have the snow blower on their side-by-side?
Yeah, one of the neighbors has he has it on his John Deere tractor, okay. But he has a snowblower on that. But he also has he doesn't have a side-by-side, but he has like a Polaris 4-wheeler and he has the plow on that. So he'll go down and plow first. And then his son, who's a teenager, comes back with a John Deere tractor and a snowblower and like brushes I don't think it's a metal snowblower. I think it might be even a brush. But he like brushes the roads where it's like super, super nice, I'm like, dang, but it still shoots the snow. It just like brushes it a little bit and shoots it. So
yeah, but like I don't know. Layer.
Yeah, but either way, like way better than what I'm doing. Yeah, without a doubt, like way better. And there's me still snowblowing, for 45 minutes while they're done in 2 minutes.
You gotta be an optimist. At least you don't have to shovel it.
It's true. So with that being said, though, and I was like, you know what, I might get a boat, but I was like, but we still got to get like a 4-wheeler with a plow, though, because for work, I need it for utility purposes, right? Meanwhile, I'll be out on the trails riding it.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to get one for hunting because it's just a pain to. I hunted on 12,000 acres, so that was our hunting club. And okay. So from where you could park your truck to like where I had my stand. It was a nice walk when I like scouted it and everything. And I scouted it with an ATV, but it was a nice walk. It was like an old logging rail around some wetlands. And so I put up my stand, I put up a blind, started feeding, put up my cameras and all. And then like 3 weeks later, just got some torrential downpours. And that entire logging road became a river and never, ever, ever dried out. And so
Okay.
every single time I went out there, if I had my brother-in-law's ATV, I could ride out and it wasn't a big deal. But when you're hunting, especially in Florida, because the deer are so skittish,
Yeah.
you drive that loud ass ATV up, and you're not going to see anything for a while. Although that is how I got my deer. I drove my ATV up to my stand, and because my stand was underwater too, so I
Jeez.
would like stand on my ATV, climb the
To like
ladder.
climb up.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, I
That's
had
crazy.
knee high boots, and like sometimes the water would even get in those boots. But
That's crazy.
both times I took a shot. One
Yeah.
for my buck during black powder season and rifle. Both times I had driven the ATV up. So that whole walking in and being ultra quiet in the morning,
It's like pointless. You're like, nope. Not convinced.
I'd just rather go in 30 minutes earlier, get there quick, and just take a nap up in the tree stand.
Yeah, for sure. I think I would be able to rationalize it if I was doing that. I do believe I rationalize at least a four-wheeler. I mean, Katie's on board. She's like, "Get what you want," and I'm like, "Oh God, I don't know." Kind of going back and forth. And for sure, like with a four-wheeler, it'd be like, I wouldn't say it's gonna be a weekend purchase, but with a four-wheeler, I can be like, "All right, let's go out and buy one." And just pay cash for it. With a side-by-side, it's like, man, at least right now, I'm like, I don't have $20,000 to put into a toy just to pay cash. And I'm not about to just take a loan out to get a toy, So I'm
At
like,
least in
I
Florida,
can't do it.
you can get decent used ones, a couple years old for
Yeah.
like a full family size with a pickup bed for like 10 grand.
Yeah, they're up here too for sure. It's just like the razors, I'm like, because that's why I told my buddy I can't ride it. It's like I can't.
You have a specific one.
Well, or be like a Can-Am. There's actually one I'm looking at by Kawasaki. It's supposed to be like super reliable. That's more like utility and family oriented. That's why I told my buddy I can't get on his. Like I can't ride his because I'm not going to want to get anything else.
You got to get one that's super fast too.
Yeah, and really powerful. You have to get the best one, the fastest and most powerful. Otherwise, what are you doing? Yeah,
and the accessories. You got to get the sound bar. You got to get the plow. You might as well put a PTO on there for some future use. You get an automatic feeder and like fertilizer system.
It'd be good. I mean, I can probably rationalize it. Like it's for work.
You got to salt the driveway.
Yeah, and really, people drive these things to work down here. Like there's razors all over the road everywhere. They drive them to work. So I could save on diesel potentially. Not have to pay the diesel.
How far is work?
For me, it's like 30 minutes away.
3 or 30?
30. Yeah, it'd be a nice little. Yeah, it'd be a nice little trek.
That would suck.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crappy. Yeah. People take them to the grocery stores all the time though. They like just put a trailer behind it and they take their razor to the grocery store.
That sounds like Florida and golf carts.
Yeah, I believe that.
So you mentioned money. So you paying cash for everything now? You debt free?
No. I wish we were until we moved here. Well, I take that back. We were minus a mortgage, and we still have the house in Colorado. So minus that, but someone's paying that for us. So
you still have a house in Colorado?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have the house in Colorado still. We've been renting it out since we moved out of it, making like good money. I can't afford to rent my house in Colorado. I just let them keep paying for it for me. So that's pretty nice. Like they pay like significantly more than a mortgage. So outside of that, yeah, up until we got here, we were, and then when we got here, we bought this house sight unseen. Well, I mean, videos. Our realtor did videos and stuff because we wanted somewhere to move when we immediately got here. He told us, "Hey, dude, it's a big hill. You're probably gonna want 4-wheel drive vehicles." I had a Camry and Katie had a Kia Sorento, like front wheel drive from when we were in Florida. Because I sold my F-150 when we were in Colorado. When we got to Texas, I sold it.
Those are not mountain vehicles.
No, not at all. So up until that point, we were debt free, and then we got here, and I was like, crap. We need it. And I was like, you know what though? I was like, if I'm gonna get a truck, I want to get a truck that I can do. I don't have to. It's a diesel. And what actually ultimately convinced me on getting the diesel was, for one, I wanted it. I remember back in the day, you always like Cummins. So I was like, dude, I want to get a Dodge Ram. Because you were like Cummins diesel hardcore. And I know my dad had the Power Stroke, so I obviously ultimately ended up getting the Power Stroke. But I wanted it because there was a Facebook post of a guy that was selling his diesel on Facebook, and it had 450,000 miles on it. And I was like, okay. Yeah. I was like, all right, you know what? That's it. I made my mind up because I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to get another F-150. But
the interior is going to fall apart and the doors will be barely hanging on, but the engine is going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy though. I'm riding down a highway and it's at like 1,800 RPMs. It's probably why it just lasts forever because it doesn't really have to do any work barely, unless you're actually making it work. So Yeah, so that's what I ended up getting the diesel. And with Katie, we wanted something that would be a little more comfortable to travel with because her parents like 6.5 hours away. So we knew we were doing a lot of trips in there. Yeah. So then we got her the Tahoe. So yeah, so unfortunately we racked up we didn't buy new. I would never buy, for right now at least, unless I can't pay cash, I'll never buy it new. And even then I might not. I probably wouldn't either.
Smart move.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either, just because of how quickly things depreciate. But yes, we bought them both pre-owned, good condition, but yeah, so yeah, that does hurt, and that hurts. And now with that being said, we bought her Tahoe we bought them both in November. I think November we bought them, and the Tahoe is gonna be paid off next month because I'm like, screw that.
Yeah,
like
2019.
2019.
Oh, you're doing that super quick.
Yeah, we bought them in 2000. Yeah, we bought them in 2019, and we're just like, boom, paid off. Like everything's going towards paying them off. Smart. Because so I was calculating, I was doing the amortization calculator on it, and I was like, because it's savings accounts are crap right now, and I don't want to, because of the house in Colorado, I don't want to like put all of my money into like a CD or anything, like any of my extra outside of like investment money. I don't want to put it in a CD just to try to collect something. So I was like, you know what, the interest rate, I wouldn't be able to get this money back on a CD even right now if I wanted to. So I was like, let's just throw it in the vehicle. So yeah, with the amortization calculator, just by paying like 10 G's on the Tahoe, it's like it automatically saved me like $2,000. And the interest rate's not terrible on it, but it's crazy how fast it works. So I'm like, no, we're getting these things paid off like immediately. So that's pretty much where it's going right now, is all the money is just going straight into the vehicles to pay them off.
How about you? How much longer you got on the truck?
A good amount of time, but it's gonna be the same thing. I don't even necessarily consider that I'm gonna be, paying it for that long. It's just more a matter of, as soon as the Tahoe is paid off, then it's straight to the truck, and that's gonna be paid off. Yeah, so I might anticipate that it's gonna be paid off. Probably the truck will be paid off. Ultimate goal by the end of this year, hopefully 2020, maybe 2021 if we have to.
That's great.
So yeah, not too bad. I still say I hate seeing interest, but better.
So when you buy a vehicle, especially a truck like that, because it's just awesome, and like I know you're it now.
Oh, dude, yes.
Do you love it more or less factoring in the payments now, or
way better when it's paid off? Way better. Every vehicle, I loved my Camry. I loved it because it was paid off. We paid cash for the Camry. We pay cash for the F-150. I love both those vehicles. And I love the truck. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't want to let go of those vehicles, and Katie didn't want to let go of her Kia Sorento, just knowing that it was completely paid off. It's like, dude, I don't want these payments. And we knew going in to buying these vehicles or financing these vehicles, we knew that we were going to hate the payments. And yeah, sure enough, it's like now I see it every time I make the payment, because I don't do auto pay for most of my stuff, just because I don't like actually I don't do it for anything, because I don't like to not know where it goes. And when I have to make that payment every time, it just like, it eats me up. I feel good making a huge payment on it. I hate making that little monthly payment, that little chip away. Oh, I can't stand it. Yeah, it sucks.
That sounds like you know what you're doing. That gum.
I don't know about that. I do what I can as I go.
What is your what's the savings rate on your or interest rate on the savings right now?
Terrible. I think I just got an email the other day. It was at 1.5%.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. Well,
the market.
Yeah.
For what's available.
It was when I first started it. I think it was. I want to say it was 2. It was like 2.15 or something like that. And slowly, because it's variable rate, so slowly it's just been trickling down since then. I'm just like, oh, it eats me up. But I'm just like, I don't necessarily consider my savings account as like my long. It's not my long-term investment. I consider it more. Yeah, I consider it more as like, this is money that I can use as necessary, but I might as well be using it, making a little bit, 40, 50, 60 bucks a month off of it, versus just sitting in a checking account doing nothing. So,
right. And I'm assuming, well, you're military, so do you even plug into retirement, or you just have your military pension year?
Just we have TSP through our savings program. So they recently changed it a little bit with the new retirement system. I'm in the old retirement system where it's still pension based, but I still do have the TSP, which is kind of like a Roth IRA. They have a Roth IRA and an IRA. They can go into it, or that you can kind of choose which one you want to do. So we have that, which it's extremely good. I don't remember the specific numbers on it anymore, but it's extremely good. Like the amount of money I essentially have to pay for it is like pennies, like I don't even know, like fractions of pennies for someone essentially to manage it. And the amount we can put in every year is really, it's like 17,000 or something. I don't know. It's extremely high. Yeah. It's like, dude, why wouldn't you? So it's like max out that every time, you know?
That's
It's crazy.
So you get pension and a separate retirement?
Yeah. In order to get pension, I have to do 20 years, right? So, and I just passed 8 years. So I have like 12 years left. So to get the pension, it's 20 years minimum. And what it is essentially, it's 2.5%.
You don't pay into a pension though.
No, you don't pay into a pension. No, that's absolutely what you earn a pension. Yeah, 20 years you do. Now, with that being said, the new retirement program is a little bit different. The new retirement program in the military, you kind of pay into your retirement. You still get 2% every year of your base. So basically, if you do 20 years in the military with the new retirement system, you get 40% of your base pay, no matter what, for the rest of your life. Like once you retire after 20 years, you get 40% of it. But they match up to 5% every year as well. So it's kind of like a mix and match. You still get the pension, plus they're matching. They're doing a match right now as well. Whereas for me, it's just I would get 50% of my base pay at retirement, like once I hit 20 years for the rest of my life. So it's 10% more. I don't pay into it, and I still get the benefits of the TSP. It would have been very even if I had those options when I first joined the military. Been very close to even, but because that new retirement program didn't open up until I was like 4 years into it, they wouldn't have been like, okay, based off what you've done, we're going to go ahead and try to catch you up. It wouldn't have been like that. They'd have been like, now I only essentially would have had 16 years to pay into it instead of a full 20. So I was like, nope, I'm going to stick with what I got. Yeah. Because I was given the option in the beginning.
Probably a smart move.
Yeah. What's up?
How many years you got left?
12 years, but a little less than 12.
You got some time in there.
Yeah, I got a little bit of time. Yeah, I'm a little less than 12 years. Yeah. But I mean, there's some options we can do. I mean, because I can even do something like go like active guard, like active Air National Guard or active reserve, basically get on reserve and go like active orders or something, and that will still accumulate my time in the military as well. So there's some different options. We don't know for sure what we're gonna do. We're just kind of like playing as we go, you know.
So my brother-in-law just retired, I think, last year from the military, and so he was in the Navy.
Okay.
I don't know, 12, 14 years or something. Then he went out and went private for a while. And then he got divorced and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, screw it, I'm going back to the military. And because I think he only had to do like 6 more years and he got a pension. And then he retired and he like got rehired by a different section of the military and is off overseas making like 3 times as much as he ever did.
Yeah. If you get a contractor job, if you get a contractor job, they make crazy dollars. Like if you go overseas, like I know I've seen people that got in the military, they're like electricians or something. They go overseas, get like $200,000 and then just come back and like, I don't know. I think they like work for a year and come back for a year and work for a year and don't work for a year. I'm like, okay.
I forget exactly. I think he's 90 days over there, 90 days back. 90 days over, 90 days back. It's something weird like that.
That's fair. Yeah. That's probably some type of tempo they have. I don't know. But yeah, I believe it though. Yeah, there's contractors. I've dealt with a lot of people that do stuff like that, and they don't have like insurance and stuff a lot of times when they do it, but they make super fat cash real quick.
Yeah, well, they already have their military.
That's true. They have their their insurance from that. Yeah, so, that's true. Not a bad gig then.
No, not at all. What are you doing for kids' college?
No. So I have the I transfer my SGI benefits to them because I don't necessarily, because I already have with this and whatnot. I basically have the military pay for my master's, so I converted my GI benefits to, it's called the SGLI benefits, and I was able to divide it down the middle because they'll pay for me for, if I get out of the military, they pay for basically 4 years of my college for free essentially. But I'm able to transfer it to the kids. So I split it down the middle and I give 2 years to Kendra and 2 years to Braden. So for at least 2 of the years, they're paid for, and they can use it up to, I think, age 25. So them being 25 years old, and that pays for, they get a little stipend as well, which is pretty good. Like on top of tuition and, like books and whatnot, it'll also pay them like $1,800 to $2,000 a month for like room and board essentially.
So how would that work? Because I'm thinking in my head, if it was my kids, because I'm not super sold on like college has to be the way to go, because obviously I'm a dropout. So
right,
So could you like, do you have to make them honor the first 2 years, or do you send them to community college and pay for it yourself first years, then let them go to the big expensive school for the last 2 years?
That's what we anticipate. That's what we kind of figure. Because like,
can you make that decision later, or do you have to?
Yeah, absolutely. No. So all I had to do right now, which is the cool part, is all I had to do was basically click on a button essentially and go through counseling. But I had to click on a button to say, I'm giving this to my dependents. And then once I say that I'm going to give it to my dependents, I can give one person 1 month, the other person, almost 4 years. I can divvy it up how I want to. I can give some to Katie, some to the kids. They can kind of mix and match, and I don't have to make that decision right now at all. I can make that decision, for sure later on. So what we anticipated, in a if they want to go to college and pursue an education that way, like a formal education that way, what we anticipated outside of like scholarships and grants was community college or something for the first 2 years, and then a big university after that. And that's when we would use it. That's when you do SGLIs to pay for like that big university when they're kind of out on their own.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you for sure. Now it's almost like, trades are perfectly fine. You can get an education now just with Googling a lot of things. You can get there's PubMed. There's so many resources. You don't need to get a formal education for sure anymore to do this stuff. So, and with that being said, I feel like I'm another person that, went to a university and then was like, and basically essentially failed out at that first university I went to because I wasn't ready. I don't think I was ready as an adult to be like on my own, making proper decisions. Cause to me, it was just like, oh man, I'm just gonna go play football. I didn't go to school because I want to get an education. I went to school because that was the next step for me to play football.
Yeah.
So then when I came back, went to community college, I certainly wouldn't say I got my head together, but I definitely think, my grades improved from a community college. I became a little bit more mature. And then when I went to university, still young and not the smartest person, but I do think I was more prepared than when I was 17, 18 years old to go off to a big university somewhere else and not make the smartest decisions there.
Yeah.
Without oversight.
And then now, if you had to redo it, would you do military first?
Man, I feel like for what it's given me, I think it's mostly hindsight. I think everything worked out so well for me in the military just because of the background, that we have, like growing up playing sports and being in more of a disciplined environment anyways, when it came to sports and a structured environment like that. I almost feel like it was a platform for me to shine. So when I did join the military, of course, going in, to me, it was just a way to pay the bills and take care of the family. And I remember when I was like getting recruited by the Air Force Academy and stuff, I was like, I'm never going to the military. This is crazy. I think in hindsight now, I'm I don't know if it's luck. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I was given a perfect platform for me to excel in the military because it offered many opportunities for leadership, many opportunities to be in kind of a limelight and to be on a platform to be able to interact and kind of influence and inspire a lot of people at once. And because I was a little bit older and more mature at the time too, I tended to be looked up to a little bit. And there was just so many leadership opportunities that it almost, I say it kind of built my confidence a little bit. And like, oh, I can do this. Oh, I am smart. I am capable. I can lead these teams. And then, so I think it was just a perfect storm if it worked out. And then a lot of things worked out in the military, with like the healthcare, like taking care of my family with the healthcare. I never have to worry about their insurance ever. Like the VA loan to be able to purchase houses and things like that. Did the tuition assistance where I went back and got a whole other bachelor's degree outside the one I already had. And then the master's degree. Just the education opportunities and all the things in hindsight, I was like, wow, this is crazy. The things that they offer if you just take advantage of it. But I don't think as a 17-year-old, I would have done that. I don't think as a 17 or 18-year-old, I would have actually taken advantage of all of those things that I was allowed to, kind of given. So yes, I don't know. I don't think it would have been the same experience if I joined the military at a young age. It's almost like I think though that a couple of years in between helped me mature a little bit to be able to take advantage of the opportunities.
Plus, you wouldn't have met Katie.
True. Fair enough. Yeah. Right. That's true.
I think what else the heck do I want to talk to you about? It looks like you're staying in shape. That's good. I guess
yeah.
You have to. Do you do PT tests and all?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they all been halted right now because of COVID. What's going on? Because we can't have more than 10 people in a closed environment. But yeah, I got my little home gym. I got a little squat rack and everything. I found that I prefer working out by myself, like doing my own thing, than I do like in a big gym anymore. But yeah, we have to stay in shape for the most part. At least look the part. You know, there's a lot of people that look the part and don't really run too much. But yeah, I have to.
So there's probably not a lot of home invasions in the sticks in South Dakota, but if there were, I'm assuming you could throw down and protect
Yeah,
your family.
yeah, for sure, for sure. We'll be taken care of.
Uh,
And my chickens and ducks will scare them away too.
they will not.
That's true. They wouldn't. The ducks would just get close to
In
them.
South Dakota, you probably have real predators you got to be concerned about.
Surprising. I thought that was gonna be the case up here. I've not seen a predator yet since I got up here. I thought for sure there was gonna be like bear, and I keep being told there's mountain lion everywhere, but I've yet to see one. They say, oh, make sure you're carrying when you go out at night. I'm like, okay,
Just wait till some chickens are missing.
that's true. Yeah, I'm anticipating that. That's why we got 8 of them. That way, yeah, I guess they'll have 4 at the end of the year.
Yeah, make sure next year you get some more chicks.
Yeah, just keep replenishing them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they die that quick?
A small percentage. Yeah, we had one just lay down and never get back up. We don't know why.
Dang.
We had
Really?
one go missing,
Okay.
And then we had one die as a chick. Which I think Ryan. So when there's chickens there and there's baby chickens, like they'll clean each other off, like peck around their butt, and so they don't their what do you call those? Their flutes or whatever don't get.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. It's their comb or something like that.
Yeah. Now it's got the combs on top.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the anatomical parts of them.
So sometimes they're basically their butt gets packed and you got to clean it off so they can poop. Or
yeah. Okay. And yeah,
so
that was Katie did that this year. She it was almost like clay poop on their butts, and she would like pull it off and clean it off.
The mother chicken would always be pecking at them and cleaning that off for them, so they kind of take care of themselves. Humans do it, but I guess she did it. And if you don't do it right, you can hurt them or disembowel them, or I don't know. But I don't know. Ryan did it once and tried to save one, and the poor thing just didn't make it through the night. So we always
where were you at
for killing that little?
Where were you when that happened? What was your thought process? Were you like, oh, I'm not doing that? Were you like, oh, if it goes, it goes?
I was like, listen, survival, nature's law. If they can't survive,
that would have been me too. I'd have been like, oh, I don't tell you, you wanted to get the chickens.
So I wanted to get the chicken. We just walked in a tractor supply. I'm like, that is a great idea.
Yeah, that's what we did the same thing, man. We didn't even have heat lamps. We got heat lamps all on the same day. Walked into tractor supply for chick days. Yeah, we got the chickens. We got 4 on like a Saturday, and then we went back and we were like, you know what? I think we need more. And we got 4 more the next day.
I went in to get a tool, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You just sell chickens here? And I started looking at all this stuff, and I went home, and I'm like, Ryan, you need to come tractor supply with me. And we took the kids, and we're like, we're doing this.
That's so awesome. Yeah. Did you get a lot of eggs from them?
Oh, so many.
Yeah, like more than you could even eat.
We had, I think, 10 egg laying. Oh yeah, way more. We had flats and flats and flats because they lay one a day. Now we got Rhode Island Reds because they can handle the heat.
I have a Rhode Island Red too,
and we fed them real well. I never did the calcium or anything because they didn't need it. But like, we have 3 boys, you know, it's a household of 5, and we eat a lot, so we had a lot of scraps, just like scrap food. And so they ate all that plus, you know, a good feed. And
you can feed them scraps, like what, like scrap, like what, like vegetables
everything.
Or like
whatever.
Really?
The only thing they really will need is citrus. But like, I mean, if we were like making asparagus and you know the tips of the asparagus, we toss that. I mean, literally everything. A chicken carcass, we toss it out there.
Really?
The bones of steaks and everything. Yeah.
That's good to know because their food's getting expensive right now.
Yeah,
like if they're eating so much food.
Yeah, like onion, like when you know the leftover parts of onions and everything. Like we throw that. We just have a bowl in the counter at all times, and like instead of anything edible, plausibly edible, instead of putting it in the trash, we put it in the bowl, and we just if anybody was going out in the backyard, they just took it and dumped it.
Did you wait for them to be adults before you did that, or you did that when they were chicks too?
Yes, yeah, we waited.
Oh, you gotta be adults. Okay.
Now, the funniest thing we did with when they were little is we had some leftover ground beef, like scraped the pan, and we tossed that in, and they went crazy over it.
They loved it, huh? Oh
Oh
my
my
goodness.
gosh, you never seen
Yeah, like
maybe chicks want to go
carnivorous. Yeah, carnivorous chickens, man. Like your chickens are crazy.
We did, but yeah, fat. I mean, literally everything, especially vegetables, because you're always chopping off ends and stuff of
All
vegetables,
right. Yeah.
or anything
Okay.
that like in the fridge if it was getting old. And I
That's good
usually
to
hit
know.
leftovers pretty hard, but yeah, we just everything went to them. They pretty
Yeah,
much
that's good to know.
watermelons.
It's
They
gonna.
love.
It's
They love.
happening. Yeah.
They loved watermelon, Ryan. Yeah.
I'm gonna clean out my work fridge with people that leave their crap there, and I'm just gonna like put it in a bucket and bring it home.
Oh,
Like free food.
sometimes you can go to like if you have a bakery or something, or like the bread department, because they just throw away their old bread. You can grab bread and toss them the old stale bread.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just save me money, man. Good, because their food is getting way too expensive for me. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like I'd pay less just to go get a dozen of eggs at the store real quick.
Oh, it makes no economical sense
It's just
unless
kind of
you have.
fun.
Now, if you have like 50 or 60 chickens, maybe.
Yeah, and like we're selling selling the other ones and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we just do it for fun though.
we always had more than we needed. Yeah, and it was kind of like that farm lifestyle for with 3 boys. So,
Yeah.
you know, I just liked it. So,
Yeah. What did you do with the chicken coop now? You gave the chicken coop, it went with the chickens?
yep.
Okay.
Well, so I put it up on Facebook for free because I'm like, who's gonna
Yeah.
want a chicken coop? Like 300 responses. Like there were so many, like I couldn't keep track of them all. And like people were getting mad at me that I hadn't responded to them. And
Yeah.
on Facebook, I don't know if you ever sold things on Marketplace before, but like
Yeah.
we have a couple cars because we gotta get rid of our cars before we leave on tour.
Yeah.
So we have a couple cars that we're trying to sell, and like I've sold these things probably 20 times, like negotiated.
And they don't show up or what?
They never show. Like it's not like they came here. They're like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, or give me a better deal or something. They never show.
Jeez,
Like,
that's
why
crazy.
the hell did we go through this like day long negotiation and answering questions? And you say, all right, you're coming.
But they don't show up. Yeah.
Probably 20 times. Now maybe some of that's COVID or people just bored, but we've literally sold them so many times.
Gee, that's super frustrating. Yeah, that's crazy. We saw the Sereno. We saw the Sereno on Facebook, and we went through similar to that. It was probably like 5 or 6 people. It was super frustrating. It's like, dude, give me a break. Or they would be like, yeah, I want it, and they would show up and then come to finance it. Like, yeah, we didn't secure financing, and it's like, okay, like, well, you should probably figure that out. Like, I'm not just gonna let you leave here. Like, you should probably figure that out because I want to get paid. I want my money if you're gonna take my vehicle.
When I sold, I remember that '68 Mustang I had back in high school.
Negative. I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No, I remember your Jeep. That's what I remember.
It was seafoam green. I barely. I had the Jeep, then the Ranger, and then.
Oh God, I remember that. I remember that Ranger with the seat would fall back.
And yeah, that was bad. And then I got that 1968 seafoam green Mustang.
I feel like I vaguely picture it.
I've got a picture of it somewhere else.
Yeah,
I had to keep it at his Pam's house when I was in college, but it was in my garage when I first bought the house. Which you probably weren't in Florida for that, so I ended up selling that. And they came up from Orlando to buy it, and I can't remember exactly how it played out, but something was like, "Oh, I didn't bring enough cash. I just brought this much." And I'm like,
like a quarter of the amount of price. You're like, get out of here, man.
I guess you're gonna have to, or no, he went to the U-Haul place to get like either the truck or the dolly or something like that. And it was more than he thought, so he didn't have enough cash. It was like $200. I'm like, I guess you better go to the ATM or the bank or something, because
yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
Like, well, I'll be here all night. Just go to the ATM. We'll come back when you're done.
I'm not going anywhere. And he, magically within like 3 minutes, his buddy, his buddy had some extra cash.
Yeah, he went to his car and pulled it out of his glove compartment. He's like, oh, okay, so you did come with more cash than that.
There it is.
You're just trying to negotiate. Okay.
They're pain. You got a will in place.
Yes. Yep. For sure. Actually, I just had to update it the other day for the potential for deployment. So I just had to go through and update everything just to make sure it was all current.
And you're in so you probably have like the living will and like the healthcare directives and all that.
Yep, absolutely. My advance directives. I notified all the individuals that are on it to let them know, like, or to at least ask them, hey, would you be willing to make this decision on my behalf?
That's weird because I'm not. You never called me.
I didn't want to put you through that turmoil in case you had to unplug me. No, yeah. So yeah, went through all that. Recently went through all that again, just to kind of get it all, make sure it's all up to date. That's one thing the military makes sure as well, which I think is understandable. So they make sure that all that stuff's in place, like at all times.
The amount of dads I talk to that don't have a will blows my mind.
Oh yeah, this is something I don't think about. They're just like, oh, I don't know. Never thought I might die.
I don't know what it is about it. They just people don't do it. It
Yeah,
drives
it's
me
crazy.
crazy because
Yeah,
there's
it's
been a
crazy.
few. We've had a lot of young people die in St. Augustine lately. I don't know what's happened, but like in the 30s age group, we had like
Jeez.
4 or 5 just like within our social circle. Not people we knew real well, but they were like friends of people we knew real well.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like I didn't go to any of the funerals or anything, but it was just really close to us. I mean,
That's
and
crazy.
I think over half of them died without and just caused problems. Like not only
Yeah.
was that like an unexpected death, but then like their spouse is just dealing with all this crap because
Jeez.
one of them was like just everything was in his name,
Oh
like
my
cars
goodness.
and
Yeah.
everything, and like so she couldn't like I think they ended up taking I can't remember what happened, but because probate's such a pain when you don't have a will, but everything got locked up and tied up. I don't think she could get to the bank accounts and things like that. It was just like a complete nightmare.
Yeah. That's so unfortunate. Yeah,
If
that's
he
so
just had a
unfortunate.
will, it just would have said, "Hey, when I die, my wife has full control of
This,
everything."
yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. It's crazy that it seems like I think everybody just assumes that it's like that's how it's going to be. Like, oh, I know, this loan's in my name, but whenever I pass away, my wife will just take charge of everything, or whoever it may be. And I think they just assume that everything's going to go to kind of the next of kin or their spouse.
It does
That's
not work.
definitely not how it works. And on top of that, it's like they don't want to deal with all that turmoil. They don't want to be scheduling this and doing that and going through that. And then when they're the ones that are responsible for all of that stuff, even if you assume that's the individual that's going to be getting everything, if they're the ones that are responsible for every one of those things, and there's no alternative or no alternate or nobody else to help them, it's like, dude, now talk about the responsibility and they're not able to grieve like they should. So yeah, I for sure think that's something important to have, without a doubt.
You're a military, so they give you life insurance, don't they?
Yep. Yeah. We have life insurance.
That's nice.
I mean, we
It's
pay
just
for
the
it.
effort thing.
We pay for it, but it's great. It's great price. So, but yeah,
That's always good.
yeah. I mean, they take care of it. It's small things that I didn't realize going in either. So,
So when you do the will, does Katie do it with you, and does she have her own?
yep. She has her own as well. Particularly, it's very important for her because Kendra being my stepdaughter, so it's extremely important. And she has hers
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. So we did it all together. Just to make sure, because naturally, what decisions I make with regards to how I die, she kind of has to be on board with it as well. So,
So do you guys, I guess, how in deep do you guys get with that? Do you guys like say, "Hey, if I were to die today, like this is what you need to do. This is
hmm
what things are." And do you guys actually have that conversation?
yeah, absolutely, yep. So she knows. So I have, I'm like this crazy spreadsheet person, and crazy documents person. So I have documents of absolutely every login that I have, documents on exactly when everything's due. I have a spreadsheet for my budget that I know every cent that I spent since 2013. Like I can go back on 2015 and look at it. So she has access to all that stuff, safes for all our files and everything. So we talk about obviously what we want, what I want when I pass away, what she wants when she passes away. Not just kind of understanding of what we put in the will, and B, like, these are our wishes. That way it's not just the first time they hear about it is not when they're reading through it and they're like, what in the world? That's what they
Yeah.
want. So yeah, they don't want to be
Shocking
surprised.
all you see in the movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's certainly not a surprise. And that goes for all my alternates as well. So like, as an example, Katie obviously is the beneficiary for everything, but for like, if she's not in the right mental state to make a decision, then I do the same exact conversation with the alternates to let them know, or to at least ask them if they're willing to, and then for two, have a conversation with them about, again, so they're not surprised in case something like that happens too.
How are you guys handling dating? Like, is there like an age limit, or are there rules in
Oh
place? Or
man, that's another one of those things we haven't formally talked about. I think based off of the vibe I get, I think Katie's gonna be a little more strict than I am. I will say, and I will say this, I I don't know, maybe it's not politically correct. I don't know the best way to put it, but I don't. We try to encourage our kids to be around other individuals that I would be okay with them being around, per se. I think just in our social circles and whatnot. Naturally, I don't think, no matter what, for dating, I'm not going to be happy when I find out Kendra's dating someone. I'll be like, oh man. But It's not really a path that we've crossed yet. Yeah, we haven't really crossed that yet. We haven't really done a lot of talk.
Was that 8th grade or 9th grade?
She's in 8th grade right now. She'll be going to 9th grade next year. It's coming for sure. I know that. She's kind of at that stage where she's like,
because in middle school, that's getting talked about.
Yeah, she'll admit to us when people are cute. Like, but it's only like celebrities. She'll say it. She won't be like, oh, this dude at school is super cute. But she'll be like, oh, I like Spider-Man or whatever it may be. But the specifics on dating, yeah, we haven't completely addressed it yet. I don't. Yeah, it's a tough one. We definitely have to sit down and discuss that for sure.
Katie's gonna be the tough one, huh?
Yeah, I think so. She's a tough one. She grew up in a kind of a more conservative environment as well with her dad. I grew up as a dude, so like whatever my parents did with Ashley and them, I don't even know. I didn't even pay attention to that crap. I was like, whatever, because I was obviously had a little more of a liberal lifestyle than they did. So I don't know. I don't think it was as hard.
So are your boys, your son's rules going to be as free as yours were, or are you going to?
No, they're not. They're
in a different direction.
Yeah, they're not going to be. They're not going to be as free as mine were, for sure. I'm going to try to channel him in a different direction. Yeah, without a doubt.
I feel like we lived without supervision for a couple of years.
Yeah.
It was there. It just wasn't necessarily applied.
It makes you wonder how we got to where we're at, right? You're like, how am I not like dead yet, or like in jail or something like that, Yeah. And I agree. I say it all the time. I tell Kate all the time, like, yeah, like sometimes where I slept at night or where Townsend and I were, I was like, I don't know. Sometimes it was there. Sometimes it was at Mama Papa's, Lee's, my house, like wherever we laid our head, that's where we slept. It was like, it was different all the time, and there was no rhyme or reason to it. It's super wicked. I don't know how we made it through it.
And we turned out okay. So I mean, that's something I struggle with as far as like, what am I going to do in the future? Because I had that freedom. I turned out okay. At the same time, very small variables could have changed the trajectory of everything.
For sure, yeah. No, I'm with you on that as well. That's a hard path to go down. I don't know. I like to believe I'm gonna channel him in a certain direction, or channel Brady in a certain direction, but I just don't know. Like, I think everything's almost gonna be a game time decision as it happens. How I'm feeling that day, I guess.
Well, you have to make decisions with the facts that
Mm-hmm.
Who are his friends, what's his history, and what kind of decision making is he doing, and I guess how the trust is, and
yeah, absolutely. That's a similar thing. I was thinking about this today. It's a similar thing with regards to I hear it all the time with what is it, like they use like double-edged sword, or what do they call it when you treat a girl different than a boy? What do they call it? Like double standard? Is that what it's called? Double standard. And I always look at it. I'm like, you know what? Because I tell Braden this all the time, and he'll complain about something. Well, Kendra doesn't have to do it, and I say, yeah, you're not Kendra. Or Braden doesn't have to do it. I say, yeah, you're not Braden. And I was telling him, I was like, dude, I have different expectations for you, not just because you're a girl or a boy, or because you're 13 or you're 9. It's because you're you and he's him. Like they're completely different people, and they respond to completely different things. So yeah. I treat them differently. I have different expectations and different standards, and that's just because they're different individuals. And it has something to do with age, maybe something to do with gender. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's just because they're different and they respond differently to me. So I do different things to them. So yeah, I guess double standard. I don't know.
Personalities and styles are real.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So yeah, because I feel like I hear that every single day. I don't know if you've heard that yet, but I hear it. Well, Kendra doesn't have to do this. I'm like, yeah, you're right, but you're not Kendra.
Yeah. What's discipline like in your house? How strict or how lax are you all?
Both of us kind of have different, for sure, different styles, different things that irk us. I would say. I'm more of the I hate to say the lecturer, but I try to explain everything. Every decision I make, I try to explain them. I say every decision I make, there's a reason for it. And I try to let them know what it is. Kendra is receptive to it. Braden is probably just like zones out and just doesn't listen to anything I'm saying. So for him, it's completely different. But Kendra, I can't explain my thought process, and she'd be like, okay, I get it. After she gets through her little emotional turmoil with Braden, yeah, he doesn't respond. Sometimes I just have to tell him, man, if he's doing something inappropriate, I say, cut it out, and he'll make his little noises, his little and I'm like, stop, like and I have to basically stop him before he gets started. So yeah, I definitely approach it a little different between the two of them. But I will say, no matter what, for both of them, there's very I don't know what it is, but I have very strict kind of daily tasks, daily routines, I guess you say. I don't know, it's like a routine, and there's just certain things you can't falter on per se. It's like, dude, it's been the same way every time, like it's always the same way. So so don't change what's working essentially in certain things. So they understand those expectations and they know that. So, and then I can always go back on that. And I try to live by that example and whatever it may be as well. So I can always say, dude, I do the same thing. It's the same thing I have to deal with. So you have to deal with it too. So then at least I'm not like, not that do as I say, not as I do type of mentality. What do they say? It is authoritarian, not authoritative.
Did you guys do spanking when they were younger? Your kids are way too old for
yeah, now for sure. Now I can't remember the last time we did. There was never a formal. I never remember being like, Katie being like, Braden was terrible today, or me being like, Braden, whatever you did, X thing you did was bad, I gave him a spank. And I never remember anything like that. It was more like pops on the butt, I guess, right? When they're doing something, I'd get their attention, I'd smack on the butt a little bit. But yeah, I never remember like the whole put him over my knee, whip him, or anything like that. I just
instant correction.
Yeah, absolutely, because they forget it, and I did too. Like I wouldn't be able to come home and be like, what you did at 10 a.m. this morning, you're gonna get a whipping for. Like it just wouldn't. I don't think I'd be able to do it, and they wouldn't know what the heck they did in the first place. They'd be like, dude, I don't know why I'm getting this. So I think just to catch their attention real quick, yeah, for sure I'd do that. But that's been, yeah, I don't even know when the last time that was now.
Shoot, that's probably a military thing if I've ever heard one. Like,
what's that?
The instant correction.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Like,
or,
so what do you do now?
Maybe they pay attention to it a little more.
Like, how do you punish now? Is this talking or grounding or chores?
Oh, geez, yeah, they don't really get grounded too much now. I would say mostly it's electronics. Mostly we take electronics, or great question. I do not know, to be honest. So we really don't.
Are your kids so good that you don't have to discipline?
No, not the case at all. I think it's just instant corrections, repeating myself over and over as necessary, because they're never going to get it on the first try.
It's like just constant adjustment.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, there are sometimes, I don't know if I've ever told you about this, but there are sometimes, as they go through into certain ages, and they're required certain things in school, or there's certain milestones in school they have to reach. Like a perfect one, I remember in Florida in fourth grade, we had to do the little essay thing at the end of the year, right? For like the standardized testing. I don't know if they do it in Florida anymore, but I always remember, by the time I was in fourth grade, I had to know the whole intro, 3 paragraphs, conclusion, standard essay format type of thing. And I remember for a while, Kendra didn't know how to format an essay. So for a little while there was this period where it's like, if something happened and she was making a routine of doing the wrong thing, or it became a trend, and I would say, okay, what you're gonna do now is you're gonna write me an essay. You're gonna do a standard essay. You're gonna do a research paper, whatever it may be. So now Kendra knows how to research. So I had her. I remember over the summer last year, there was something that multiple things that she did over, and I was like, okay, well, this will benefit you and it'll benefit me. So I made her give me a presentation on like AP classes, and like dual enrollment, so that she would understand it going into high school, because of course she's starting next year. So that was one of the things she had to do. And she said in the end, she kind of enjoyed it just because she got to learn about those things. And then we went to this year when we had the high school night where we kind of learned things. When they were giving a lecture on it, these are kind of the paths and the trajectories you can go in high school, which, by the way, dude, high school is legit now. Like, they have career paths you can go down in high school. She understood what they were talking about. So they were saying things like AP classes and dual enrollment. She already understood what they were saying. She was like, I was able to follow that and understand what they were talking about.
You made her do an essay on that?
I made her do a presentation. Yeah. So she had to put a PowerPoint presentation together and present it to Katie and myself. And then, of course,
that's smart.
Yeah. So she was able to, and she presented it twice, because I told her, I was like, dude, I'm not taking the first thing you throw together in 30 minutes. So she presented it to us once. I gave her feedback, and then she had a couple of days to kind of refine it, and she presented it to us again, and it was great. And I learned from it. I was like, okay, so now I knew what to expect from her as well. So I was like, cool.
What did you get in trouble for? Do you remember?
Dude, I can't even remember. Most of the time for me, and something important for me is mostly like character type things, like integrity and things like that. It's usually not the onesie twosies like, hey, I didn't do the dishes. It's usually like the you've been selfish, you've been um I can't think of anything else right now. But yeah, basically like
we've been having issues with lying.
Yeah, so things like that that I feel like are character things, and I don't want those to become trends. Those are the things that really get me to where I'm like, you know what? There's been a trend here. This is what we're going to do to fix this. And again, Kendra is super receptive to that stuff. She like picks it up real quick, and she's like, okay, I got it. And then she did the presentation, learned a lot, and yeah, she's I don't have any plans for her for sure. I mean, lack of activity, I would say, not playing sports, and stuff. That's kind of a struggle, but otherwise, good kid.
I like that strategy of whatever the structure. Because the only reason it's really resonating with me is because Levi's having that exact same issue with essays right now. Just not understanding like the make your point and like the 3 supporting sentences for each paragraph, and like for some reason it's just we just made him redo an essay like 8 times, like 3 days.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
I don't know what you're doing here, but that's not it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Braden's doing essays right now. He has 3 essays due by May, or by like May 8th or something. And I've kind of been working on him with that. It's crazy. I mean, it's very important. I feel like being able to write is so important. You have to be able to write. There's some things in school for sure. It's like, dude, what are we doing with our time right now? But you have to be able to construct a thought and put it down on paper. So we've been working with Braden on that too. But I do remember, before, this was years before the presentation, that was one of the things Kinder had to do, was format a essay. God, I can't remember what it was on. I want to say it was on being it's like being selfish, or I can't remember what it was on. It was something to that effect. But it was research as well. I made her do research on it too, because that's something else I think is important. All these electronics that all the kids are on, they don't know how to do research. I was like, dude, how do you not know how to Google?
So we're taking something that they don't want to do necessarily, but they need to do as a life skill, and using that as punishment.
Yes.
To reinforcement the behavior that they were doing wrong.
Yes. Yeah, and it benefits them too. For sure, definitely benefits them. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay being a little more strict on like making them go back and redo things over and over, because I know it's benefiting them. Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm fine with that. I can go to sleep at night knowing that it stinks for them right now, because it's going to benefit them in the long run.
100%. Levi's going to be writing some essays over the next month or so. That is his punishment for the next month or so.
Sorry, Levi.
What else I got? You have any attitude issues?
Braden has a big attitude. Braden is, dude, he's like what I've been told. He's spitting image me when I was a young kid. Oh man, his attitude is terrible. With him, it's one of those things I have to snap him out of it real quick. And one of those like, don't say one more word, no more words, 0. I don't want to hear one sound. And he'll walk away and just kind of hold it inside real tight. Kendra, no, not really, dude.
At least he's holding it in.
Well,
when someone says that to me, I just can't help but be like, okay. Still have to get that last word in.
He probably does in his room, but it's enough to where he can at least, like, dude, you have to maintain that tactful presence. You have to maintain that tact and watch who you're saying and how you're saying it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure when he goes into his room, he closes his door. He's probably saying words he shouldn't about me, but I don't hear them. I suppose he can vent all he wants to his pillow.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you guys even need babysitters anymore?
No, for sure. They're pretty self-sufficient for sure. And Kendra can manage pretty much everything if she wants to. And Braden really doesn't require anything either.
Did you guys ever was that ever an argument for you guys? Ryan and I never cared. We would take anything that breathed and fogged a mirror to watch our kids. We just didn't care. No,
we didn't either. I will say we didn't. Yeah, we didn't. Yeah. We never really argued about it, but I know we didn't do a lot of. I feel like we didn't do too much. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we just got lucky and her parents were around at those ages where we did require babysitters. But I remember we didn't. There's a lot of times that we didn't really. It was like, dude, it's been a month since we've gone on dates. Which for sure stinks. There was definitely never argument on it though. I remember being in Texas, like the first time we were in Texas, and there would be, individuals in my unit or my shop that would just watch the kids, and we didn't really care too much. I mean, obviously I'd meet them first and stuff. But no, I was never like, what are you about? What's your character? I was never like that. Like, if you're gonna watch them for a couple hours while we go on a date, and I work with the individuals a lot of times too. So
I've been
that's one thing that
they don't want strangers watching their kid, or like a babysitter. Like,
yeah,
they don't go out, or they wait until their family's available. It's just
oh yeah, yeah. I guess I've never been in that situation, to be honest, because I've always had I've never had to hire a stranger. Yeah, because either we had family or we had someone that I work with. Because it's another, I guess, benefit of the military community is where like I can be like, every base has like a Facebook page anyways, and it's typically like overwhelmed by spouses, like usually wives. So they're always like, hey, is anybody free? Or hey, does anybody want to do a play date? Or hey, does anybody want to go to the basketball courts or send their kids to basketball courts? So it's been very easy. Yeah, it's been very easy to do that. And a lot of, again, being in the military, people would get deployed and come back and make a kid. So all the families have a bunch of kids, so it's almost like they want other kids to come over to entertain their children. They're like, yeah, come on, bring them on over on Friday night and they can play with my sons.
Yeah.
So we've it's never been an issue. I think more often than not, if we didn't go on a date, it was like because of work or something, something very, very unfortunate, like a period of time where it was like, dude, how is our schedules not matching up than it ever was that we just couldn't get someone to watch the kids.
You're in year 10. So I assume either right now or probably more so 3 years ago, you guys must have had a really rough time in your relationship. Because usually around the 7-year mark,
7 year,
it's like,
when that had been, what we got, 2020, 1917. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Probably. We for sure had. Yeah, absolutely. It definitely hasn't been perfect. Without a doubt, it hasn't been perfect. Yeah, for sure not.
I wouldn't have ever assumed that. There's been no marriage I've ever spoken to that's been like
that's ever been perfect.
Unless it's like 6 months old or a year old or
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Anything that's 10 years old, there was a time where somebody was about to kill the other. So.
Yeah. Probably multiple times where someone was going to kill the other person.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so crazy, the different dynamics of like being married and in long-term marriage, being married for a while versus, I don't even know, the small stuff, dating, even dating your girlfriend, boyfriend. It's such a different dynamic. Yeah, I don't know. It blows my mind. I mean, even something as simple as like, it's not the nuisances of, hey, who left what around or who didn't pick up that anymore. It's more like, what's this person about? What are they? What are their goals? What are their aspirations? It's a little crazy, little things here and there. What has the trend been over the past couple months? It's so crazy how the ebb and flow and the dynamics of a marriage are so much different than dating and whatnot.
It is weird.
Yeah,
it's weird. Like I don't want to say roller coaster because that implies like high highs and low lows, but
yeah,
the way it's constantly shifting, that relationship, like the closeness and then friction and then rebounding, and
yeah,
it is really interesting.
Yeah, you wonder, you're like, how did this happen? What are we doing? I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy how that works.
Oh, cool. You got anything you want to put in? It's almost about 2 hours. We're gonna have to cut that down.
Conversation every day, like, hey, when are we gonna get this tour started? Or is it kind of like hey, well, let's check next week?
There's 62 feet of freaking rig sitting in our driveway, which I'm not sure the neighbors are super thrilled about.
Yeah, that's fair.
Of like, let's just go. That's why I was kind of telling her, like, let's just go to the farm, like, and we can we'll be in West Virginia, and the farm is in such a small town in West Virginia. West Virginia's got no cases anyway. There's enough to explore. At least we're on 400 acres where we can literally just go do whatever, whenever. And like, I'm more comfortable there. It's not a campground; it's family property. So
right. Yeah.
And then we can just make a decision. We can go west, we can go northeast. Depending on how everything reacts in the next couple of weeks. But,
yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah,
I think so too. But she kind of wants to stay and just I guess ride it out here a little.
I mean, worst case scenario, you can go to West Virginia, and then if you're like, hey, nothing's opening quick enough, you can always just come back. But it's still kind of one experience.
I said that exact thing.
Yeah, still just wanted to ride it out, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems a pretty benign thing to do. Just go up there, hang out for a little while, and come back if necessary.
We'll probably. I think once May rolls around, what have we got? 7 days, so another week. I think once May 1st rolls around, and we see how everyone's reacting to those openings,
Yeah.
we'll probably make a decision to leave like May 6th or 7th or 8th or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. What are your plans with it afterwards? Like, so you do your tour. Like, is there gonna be a period of time where you're like, all right, you know what, we're done doing the tour? You know, what are you gonna do then?
So realistic, we have it planned for like a year and a half, 2 years, and then that's kind of like our family adventure. We're being much more liberal in like how we spend and what we do. Like just very relaxed and enjoying it. At the same time, trying to build 100% Dad brand. So there will be a couple of factors. If we're not having fun, we'll definitely end it. I mean, if it's just like if we're not comfortable, if we're not enjoying it as much as we thought we would, or if there's just there's too much friction, whether it's family wise or just enjoyment wise, then of course we'll just end it and get back home. We won't force it just because we had the plan. We will in the beginning.
Right.
If the first 3 months are rough, we'll force that to go through just to make sure it's not just get adjustment.
Right. Yeah.
But we wouldn't do that for like a year and a half. We might just maybe skip or stay places longer so we don't have to pack up and move as much, or maybe just go to only certain areas instead of trying to hit everything.
Yeah.
But then we'll just kind of have to make a decision of how 100% Dad's doing. If it's growing, if it seems to be something viable, then we'll continue to push and promote it. If we're really having fun, there's really no reason to end it.
Okay. Yeah.
Keep going, because Ryan phrased it really well the other day. Like, we've never been able to do so much and like see so much of the country and explore and have so many opportunities, but feel like we're missing more than ever. Because like Georgia alone or Florida, you could spend months in any state.
Yeah.
Still not do everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're like a couple weeks in different parts of the state, and there's so much. The country's so big, and there's so much to do. We almost feel like we're not getting to do so many things
because you have the opportunity to do it.
Well, because there's other things we're doing, and we're going past it or near it or a different time of year.
Okay.
There's just so many things. So we're doing more than we've ever had before, and we're being exposed to so many things. But at the same time, there's so many things you didn't do that you could have done if you just stayed there. But you'd have to stay there for like a year, and absolutely. I don't think in a lifetime you could explore this country fully.
No, I don't think so either.
It's just impossible. And so it's
even if you just hit the highlights, you wouldn't be able to, like all the things. Yeah.
So I mean, the way she phrased it the other day was really dead on. Never have we been able to do so much, but feel like we're missing out on so much. Or never. So it's, I don't know. We'll see. But if we're having fun, to keep it going. If we're able to build the brand that way, just build the business around it, that'd be really cool. That's obviously the goal.
Like the 100% Dad World Tour. I think as you go to different locations, you'll kind of bring in that community as well to it. So
that's the goal. And certainly, I'm just driving this through town from like where we got it wrapped to the house. It grabs looks. I mean, it grabs like people are noticing it.
For sure. Like, what is that? Who's that celebrity? Yeah.
You cannot miss it.
Yeah.
I was gonna get the truck done, but it was gonna be another $10,000. I was like,
yeah. But and then when you're done and you want to do something different with this brand, then you have it on your truck. I think you should just pull it off or something. I don't know.
Where we at? Just so you can see it.
Yeah, that thing's super cool, man. That'll definitely draw attention. People gonna be. Do you have like all your networking? Yeah, okay, like Facebook and everything on there, because people are gonna be going straight to that. Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, we were trying to make it not too busy and still get the point across.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The other side, and then the back has it as well. This side was a lot more difficult because you got all the doors and pop-ups and all. No, I've never thought about that before.
What's that? A failed clean is a successful deadlift?
Yeah.
That's what I tell everybody that stuff, because people do like these mainstream lifts. Because I actually quote unquote. Part of my thesis actually was on youth sports development, was on actually youth athletic development, because I was curious as to like when children can formally start working out. Because we were always told when we were kids, like, oh, you can't work out till you go through puberty, blah blah blah, because it messes up your joints. So I did my thesis on that, of course, because Braden was kind of around that age where like he wanted to start doing stuff with me. So I did my thesis on that. I found out quite a bit actually. So like formal training, you can start like 6 years old for like real formal weightlifting training, but because of it's quite a bit of variables, but they're not gonna build muscle just because they don't produce the same testosterone that we do, but they have more neuroplasticity between the ages of 8 and 11. So they actually build muscle memory way faster at that age group than we could as adults or even teenagers. So it's actually better to get them in at an early age. And they did a lot of the studies.
What kind of work?
Because nobody's ever questioned whether a child can run forever and do a bunch of things, right? Because like kids play soccer and do this and they're active all day. So nobody's ever really questioned that. The worry was always like, hey, can the joints handle weight? So they compared it was in soccer athletes, because that's, soccer is this huge thing that parents and coaches and like there's all these elite teams and everything. So they compared it mostly with soccer athletes, and they found that they call it peak height velocity, but they found that kids that are doing this formal plyometric training and weight training before they reach peak height velocity, which is the point in time where they're starting to, that period where all of a sudden you just hit a growth spurt. That's the kind of peak height velocity. And they use that as the metric, because age is an interval, I guess, but you can't really say, oh, when you're 13 years old, you go through puberty. Everybody kind of goes through very different times, right? So they consider peak height velocity, that growth spurt, when an individual hits that growth spurt at say 12 versus another one hitting at say 12 and a half, they're at about the same level at those times, just a little bit different age. But so they use that as the quantifier, was peak height velocity. And they found that before they hit peak height velocity, there's absolutely no benefit to weight training to build muscle compared to plyometrics. But the benefit is more in the neuroplasticity. So those movements, they learn those movements, and their body learns those movements way better with weight training. So plyometrics in and of itself was the best, was better than weight training by itself, but the combination of the two is by far the best. It showed the most improvement. And their metrics were like box jump, broad jump, vertical, it's little things like that they can test explosive power. And they found that the combination of the two was the best. And it wasn't because they got stronger, it's just because of the neuroplasticity. Now, obviously, it's a completely different story once they do hit peak height velocity and they are producing testosterone. At that point, it is like you kind of got to do the combination of the two, plyometrics and weight training, because, of course, if you get stronger, you're going to be much more explosive as well. And then plyometrics helps with the complete range of motion. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. There's actually a huge write-up on it. I can send you my PowerPoint if you want to, like the one that I did for my presentation. It'd probably be like kind of deep, but there's I can send you the link from the National Strength and Conditioning Association if you wanted. I don't know if you wanted to. It's a pretty straightforward write-up, so it's not too hard to read through.
Levi's been asking me about working out, and I was like, we can start doing something. But I was going to do all body weight kind of stuff, because
that's absolutely fine.
Same thing of like I don't want to damage his growth plates or something.
Yeah, so you can do that, and they found that because they were like, these people are initially it kind of started because they were like, people are so worried about weightlifting and joints, but you're putting way more pressure and torque on your joints doing things like soccer, all the time, or these youth league basketball all the time. These kids are in AAU. Then we're concerned with like every once in a while doing a workout. So the National Strength and Conditioning Association kind of developed certain like parameters, like don't go over this amount of time. And I can't remember the exact amount. I want to say it's like 16 hours a week, which seems like a lot, and it is a pretty good amount. And there's no way we're even come close to that. Like Brayden was training with me for a little bit when we were in Florida, and he does a little bit now, just like goofing off. I don't ever put weight on or anything. It's mostly like I'll have him do a power clean, but with a broomstick, and it's really just to go through the motion, because it's not going to benefit him doing anything else. I'll have him do squats, but it's with like body squats, air squats, and it's just to go through the motion, because the weight's not going to benefit him really at this point. So do things more explosive movements though, like box jumps, broad jumps, that will benefit him. It'll be I guess the movement itself benefits them more than the explosiveness itself. So just the act of doing it is way better than like, come on, man, jump farther, jump higher. That's not as important as that. Just actually doing it. So yeah, he's at the perfect age to do it. I'll send you that article, or that write up, and it's called it's the National Strength and Conditioning Association's position on, like, it's their position on youth athletic development. But I'll send you that, and it's a super easy read, and it kind of goes through like, this is what they believe, and these are the reasons why. So
what's that? Yeah, but we're just talking now.
Okay, because it's been like 3 hours.
It's been 2 hours and 39 minutes.
yeah, sorry.
Timer. Joe says he doesn't care. Me too. Are you going to bed?
It's like midnight.
Yeah.
27. All right. I'll probably be up for a little. I'll probably do that puzzle and just knock it out because I'm not sleepy. It was good knowing you. Bye. I need to get back to this call.
Get back to this business. Yeah. I'll send you the paper. It's a pretty simple read. That way you can at least have some take on it. Yeah, but it's pretty cool stuff. I don't even know where the hell I was going with that in the first place. There was something I was doing with that. Oh yeah, the whole failed, successful. So anyways, yeah, that's why I was going with it. So I used to tell people that all the time when I would do Olympic lifting, because there was they did studies on the amount of force that's generated for a power clean versus or a snatch versus a deadlift even, and and so they broke up the power clean and snatch into like 3 different phases, like from the floor to like mid, and then from mid to the second phase essentially. And they found that on both phases, like it's almost like double the amount of force is generated. So it's like, even though let's say you're doing a power clean, even though the first half is a deadlift, you're still generating more force doing that than you were if you were just doing a deadlift by itself. Right. So even if you fell on the second half, you're still generating more force. So you're doing more work that way.
Because it's a deadlift plus like a
yeah, it's like an upright row. Yeah. Yeah. So you're still, yeah. So again, even if you fail on the upright row aspect of it, just that first beginning part from the ground to your waist, it's like twice the amount of work. So I'm like, dude, I can do twice the amount of work in like a 10th of the time, you know? So I'm like, dude, sign me up. So that's pretty much what I do for the most part now, is little things like that.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right, have a good one.
All right, man. It's been fun. See ya.
See ya. That was podcast number 5 with Joe Smith, military dad, talking about some South Dakota and endometriosis and some COVID and some kids weightlifting. Check us out, 100%dad.com. All the symbols are there on the screen for the social media follows. So find us. We're going to get better at these podcasts because I recognize that the audio was not fun. So we will be fixing that in future episodes. Thanks for tuning in.